All right, hello. My name is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. I am going to be running this game called Alien World today. This is a game I've been working on myself. This is a playtest. This is our second session of two. Just a short little run. Get it out, see how it works. This game it takes the bits of lots of different games. Zombie World is obviously a big part of it. The Alien RPG by Free Legan Cartel, Escape from Dino Island. People noticed that last time. Against the Dark Conspiracy and Alien Dark. Um, we are doing this game as part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. We're a bunch of gamers play online together, people all over the world. And if you like what we're doing, or you want to check out more about how to join, or watch some of our actual plays, you can go to our forums, gauntlet-rpg.com, or you can check out YouTube, The Gauntlet RPG, and watch some videos. Um, let's go around the table and just introduce yourself and your character with their pronouns, and tell us. Oh, we lost Chris, but I'm sure he'll be right back. Go around and tell us your names and your pronoun, your name of yourself and your character and your pronouns. And welcome back, Chris. And just maybe a highlight, something that you remember from last week, a highlight for your character. And we'll go from there. So I think I started with Jex last time, so I'll start with Mark this time. Tell us about yourself and Beetle.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I use he or them pronouns, and I am playing Beetle, he, him. Beetle is was a vigilante and has maintained the same philosophy by pushing a psycho killer into a lava pit because he hamstrung one of our buddies.
Yep, perfect. Chris, tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, my name's Chris. I use he, him pronouns. I love the Gauntlet. I have a great time on it. I love all the people in the community. I'm playing Harrow, who is clearly ex-corporate and likes to get other people to do the work for him, and has somehow found himself in these reduced circumstances. It was revealed last time his agenda is to stay cool, and he has pretty much pursued that. Not all that likable.
I remember him pole vaulting over some monsters last time.
Right.
That stick to my memory. And Jex.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jex Thomas. I use they, them pronouns, and I am playing Bicker, the hacktivist. Bicker uses she or they pronouns, and Bicker is currently trying to climb into crashed, well, not exactly a helicopter, but something of that sort, to recover hopefully some useful gear. And my background and agenda are both still secret. So hopefully I'm sure those will come out this session.
Okay, great. And on that note, we did learn, as Chris mentioned, we've learned Harrow's agenda is stay cool, and we did also learn that Beetle's background is laborer. So you guys check out those cards because they do give you some nice toys to play with. Briefly about safety, we talked in more depth about it last week, but let me just remind you guys what we're using. We're using the Gauntlet Code of Conduct. We're using the Open Door. We are using lines and veils. We have lines on sexual assault, homophobia, transphobia, and slavery. We won't see any of that. And veils under suicide, torture, and eye injuries. Ask first. And we are also using the X card just in case anything else should come along and you're not feeling comfortable. Throw that X up there. Quick review to kind of get us back to where we left off. You guys are on a planet, a prison planet that we named Nephis 620, and it is a jungle planet. And we established that you are here doing hard labor for various crimes, various violent crimes, and you were doing hard labor as slumberers, and you were using technology to compress wood down into blocks for energy, I guess. And you were approached by a colonial marshal by the name of Johns, and Johns enlisted you to go out into the wild to find some missing VIPs. You He promised you your freedom in return for your help, and you marched for several days out into the wild to try to find the VTOL vehicle that they were last seen in, and you followed sort of a breadcrumb of items that had presumably fallen from this vehicle. In addition to the thick vegetation, we also established that there are let's see, zooming in here so I can read it. We have ridges, cliffs, and canyons, tectonic activity, and geothermal activity. And we brought those, I guess we brought them all into play in our sort of our set piece encounter when you finally arrived at the crash site of this vehicle. And as Jex alluded to, it's high up in a tree, a huge tree across this like lava stream. And there were all kinds of like cracks and stuff in the ground from the tectonic activity. And through some hijinks, you got yourself attacked by some alien dog creatures that seemed to appear when you heard a weird whistle from out in the jungle. And then once you finally escaped from them or overcame them and got across this lava stream, that whistle happened again, and they went away. Let me remind you, in addition, another monster that as players you know about, but as characters you don't, is something called a falcon. So out there's some lurking thing, falcon, that functionally allows me to gain more threat whenever I gain threat. And I think I might have mentioned, so basically what you have to do is, you have a hint that there's something there. I think somebody's described like they saw a shadow flying overhead, which was weird because there aren't really birds on this planet. And it's just a matter of taking some time and being like, I'm going to look around and see if I can figure out what that was, and then we'll have we'll do a draw and we'll see what happens. I think we ended with, like I said, you had all gotten across this lava stream, and Beetle had witnessed one of the NPCs, the psycho killer Cage, played by Tom Cruise in our movie, had hamstrung and basically murdered another NPC. And in sort of a little bit of street justice, Beetle lassoed him and slung him into the lava. And he was confronted by Johns angrily, but convinced Johns that it made sense. And Johns prior he had been sort of antagonistic to Beetle, but he seemed to come around a little bit to understand where Beetle's coming from.
If I remember, I helped a little bit by calling it a personnel problem.
Right. Anything else important I missed in our quick review?
The company that runs the prison is Sycorax. I don't remember what the company whose logo on all the old machines and stuff were.
Right. It was
Caliban.
Caliban.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
And I seemed to have some knowledge of Caliban.
Yeah, you said Caliban or a bunch of fuckers. And the VTOL craft though has the logo of Sycorax on it. I think we established that. So presumably these VIPs were associated with Sycorax. But Caliban had mysteriously they must have owned or worked on this planet in the past, and they had left a lot of heavy equipment laying around that's kind of been overgrown by the jungle in the years since, right? But yeah, we'll see if that comes to fruition, that idea. So I think we ended with the everybody gathering themselves after their close call, and Bicker was getting ready to climb up this big tree, and there was a there's a thicket of jungle between you and the tree, maybe 10 meters or so, it looks like. And emanating from this jungle are two things. One is a stench of death. And another thing is, I believe it was Beetle heard sort of like a resonating voice saying something, repeating something from that someone had said. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Right.
And it was kind of creepy.
Bicker had said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys pick it up from there. What's next? Where do you go?
This VTOL craft is our ticket, right?
Yeah, in the process of helping Bicker up there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys gonna press through this thicket and get to this tree? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think Bicker is. I think she's making a beeline to it as direct a route as she can, and as soon as she can get up to the tree and find a handhold, she is going to start climbing.
Okay, so let's have it like fade out and then fade back in moments later as the group of you. 2 of you have died. So let's see. There's 3 NPCs, and 3 of you. 6 of you guys. So 6 of you move through this thicket. Pushing your way through. I think Beetle, you established you had a machete, so maybe we see you hacking, the last, couple plants out of the way, and you come out into a small clearing, and there's a trunk of this tree. It's huge. It's like, I think I described it as like 5 meters across. It's about 30, 40 meters high. Well up in the boughs of this huge tree is this large craft, hanging from the lower branches are, let's say, 5 bodies. 5 bodies. They're hanging upside down by ropes, and they are dead, and they have been flayed. Their skin has been peeled off. There is blood and viscera kind of, pooled around underneath them. It's, I think we described there's not many insects, so there's not that, but there's bacteria, and it smells horrible. So this is pretty nasty. Everybody take a point of stress for that. And that reminds you that in the bottom left of your character cards, there's a spot to record stress. And if you get to 5, you're what's called overwhelmed. So then you'll have to make an overwhelmed move, which I think I mentioned I'm kind of pushing to want to see some of those tonight. So you may see yourself gaining stress a lot tonight. But you don't have to wait till you're at 5. If you want to do something to try to reduce your stress, you might take a look at those overwhelm moves, try to trigger one before you get to 5. You certainly can do that also. So you come through this, and like I said, there's this dead bodies here. And Johns says, oh, there were 6 of them, though. Where's the 6th?
Beetle asks, these are the VIPs?
It's hard to know for sure, but I would assume so, yeah.
Well, there's only one way to go from here. I think Bicker is just single-minded at this point. We're working towards getting that VTOL.
Can we see any evidence around the tree on the ground of someone passing through here, of the undergrowth trampled, or something being dragged away?
Sure. So you started to kind of look around. Johns is doing the same. Johns, he starts to look around. There's like wreckage and stuff down here, maybe some personal items that have fallen down presumably from the crash above you. And he starts to kind of go around, and he's like, yeah, see if we can figure out what happened here and find a way out of here, because we can't go back that way, pointing back to the lava. Like I said, he starts looking around. It sounds like Bicker's going to head for the tree trunk and start climbing. What about you, Beetle? What do you think you're doing?
I think I'm going to help Johns poke around and see what we can find, either identification-wise or equipment-wise, that may have dropped down.
Sure. Let us go ahead and Bicker, the tree is big enough and there's enough branches and stuff. I'm not going to make you do a draw to climb up unless you're really hurrying or doing it with like great urgency, but I'm assuming if you take your time, you can climb up there without.
Yeah,
any
I mean,
difficulty.
I'm going fast, but not like that fast. You know what I mean? Like I'm still being careful.
Sure, sure. So I think what we'll do as Bicker starts to climb up the trunk, um, let's trigger a move then for Harrow. So Harrow, we're going to do the move Investigate. This is a safety move. Investigate. When you have appropriate fictional positioning, you may search an area or computer system for information, a person, or a thing. Before you do, share a story. As we mentioned, this is just take a moment, whether it's a short quip, it's a flashback, or a conversation. Share something that tells us more about your character. And you can be, you go ahead and pick an NPC, or you can be talking over to Beetle, whatever framing works for you is fine.
Sure. I think I'm talking to Beetle, and let's say, I back before my unfortunate circumstances started, I was often involved in fact-finding missions for Caliban Corporation, in fact, and this is no different. You just look for telltale signs, clues. Just this happens to be on a prison planet.
Sure. All right. And describe what you're hoping to find or discover. I think you already did kind of.
Yeah.
Evidence of what happened. Anybody's
especially if something's been dragged away.
Yeah. And describe how you put yourself into danger like an idiot.
I am I am sort of wading through bushes where I really cannot see what is in them. There could be sharp shrapnel debris, or there could be something living. I'm just blithely talking about meetings and Kanban boards and building consensus and not even thinking about this hell planet.
Right. Okay. I think we're ready to go to the cards then. You, first of all, you get one card for free. Do you have an expertise that will help in this situation?
I have plus intelligence. I think that would help.
Tell me a little more why you think intelligence would help with this.
Because I'm trying to discern signal from noise. I'm trying to get a sense of what is worth noticing here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll buy that. And do you feel like you have the right tool for the job? And remember, it doesn't just have to be something you already have. You can declare things. And as a side note, you guys had decided on the second power level. So you can declare things within our limitations. And I think, let me find how I've written it. Our limitations for equipment. You have some basic or improvised melee and ranged weapons and basic gear. Okay, so within those limitations, you can just declare things. So back to you. Do you feel like you have the right tool for the job to help in the situation?
I think maybe I picked up machete from Hughes, my former lackey.
Okay.
Now deceased.
Go ahead and add machete to your gear, and I think that will work. So you're up to 3 cards, and then the last one. Do you feel like you have a significant advantage? Is there anything that we've established, or anything that you've done to prepare yourself for this that would give you an advantage?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah. So when you're ready, go ahead and draw 3 cards.
Edge, miss. Okay. Edge. Okay. Edge is if I take stress, I can make that into.
No, that's opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just a mixed success.
Yeah, edge is a mixed success. That's right. On a hit, in addition to finding what you were looking for, you find out something that moves the plot forward. and an edge is just not, and a triumph you get something extra. So you're you do indeed find you find two things. First, you find a trail. It looks like a I think we introduced like these deer creatures last time. It looks like a game trail. There's like a game trail that goes off into the brush, and it seems to go on, and it seems to sort of like snake around. And you kind of, maybe there's a gap in the trees, and you look into the distance, and you see that the canyon that you guys were in, or that you're still in, really, there seems to be a way maybe that you can kind of work your way up through this jungle and get higher up to the upper level of this canyon, and maybe you can get around that way, and then not have to go back through across that lava stream somehow. So you find that, but then the other thing you find is you find another body, and this body has clothes all ripped up and partially burned, and but it doesn't seem to have a spine or a skull. It looks like the spine and the skull has been cut, ripped from the body. And that's pretty horrible. I think you're gonna have to take another stress when you return. Looks like we lost Chris again. Oh, he's right there. Did you get that, Chris?
No, I did. I
Did you lock
out
up?
as soon as you said
Okay.
I found a game trail.
Oh, okay. So you found a game trail, and it's sort of like, it seems to have a way. This game trail seems to go along and potentially have a way to like get out of this canyon and up to the top of this ridge, or the top of the canyon side. But you also found a body, and the body is it's got clothing on. Maybe it has like a patch on the breast that says Sycorax, right? Sycorax jump work clothes, and but it's a lot of the clothing in the body is partially burned, and you see that its spine and skull seems to be missing, and it looks as though the spine and the skull have been ripped, cut, or something. Somehow something is removed this in a very dramatic fashion. And I was about to tell you had to take a point of stress for that.
I imagine. Yeah, I will do that. And of course, my victory conditions, such as they are to end with 0 stress, and that is not happening.
No, it's not helping.
Unless I clear them all after I'm overwhelmed. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is not a VIP. This is like the pilot or something. Or is it more like livery than work clothes?
Yeah, it's uncertain. Like I said, the other bodies didn't have any clothing on. What these people, I mean, it seems to be part of the party who, whether it's a VIP or what, you don't know, obviously. You might have to go talk to Johns and show him what you found.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm gonna take out this handkerchief that I mysteriously always keep clean and like put it over my mouth and nose.
Right. Yeah, it smells pretty gnarly. I think you turn, and like right behind you is the big, tall mastermind. His name is Reno, and he's looking around, and you see him contemplating, and he says, I think we walked into a trap. So let's pick up with Bicker climbing. Bicker, you've reached the craft, and tell me what you do, or what your plan is here.
Yeah, so I think I do some quick kind of mental calculations. I try to figure out, I try to find the actual, doors and things like that to get in, and then if there's actually maybe a different way or a better way. If I try to go to that door, is it going to, because of how this thing is crashed, is it going to shift weight in a bad way, that kind of thing. And as soon as I sort of figure that out, I start making to get in. Like, I'm very focused on just I definitely did not hear someone say, "I think we came into a trap." Right. So
No.
I am just I'm just going for it.
Let's say that there's a big blast hole in the side of it. So you climb in through that. So you're inside, and it obviously has suffered a lot of damage in a crash. Um, a lot of stuff has been torn around inside. Let's say that there's like a large crew compartment that you climb into, and then it's sort of like a small passage that leads into like the cockpit. So kind of paint the picture and make it however you want. But what is your goal here? What are you trying to? Basically, I imagine you're trying to investigate also. But
Yeah, I think it's investigate. I mean, I remember the thing that I was like, the reason I wanted to come here and do this was to try to get like like the black box or something, right? Like some kind of record of what had happened. But I think probably also investigating more broadly at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and just go to the move then. So investigate. When you have appropriate fictional positioning, blah, 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 share a story. So in your case, I think it sounds like you're on your own. So it'd be kind of like a flashback for you.
Yeah. I think that we see Bicker kind of in sort of a similar kind of like small, cramped kind of corridor. We have this all sort of like retro futuristic stuff. Like she pulls out this like big like basically looks like an 8-track or something, and like puts it in one place, and then starts like typing on this old clacky keyboard, and keeps looking over her shoulder and just, like really trying, like, okay, come on. And I think then there's like a swipe of a flashlight kind of across her face, and she's like, fuck, and it closes there. So this is probably her when she got arrested.
Okay, great. And describe what you're hoping to find or discover.
I mean, the black box or anything that sort of tells us what happened here.
Okay. And describe how you could put yourself into danger like an idiot.
I've become so focused on finding this thing that my situational awareness is just tanked.
Right. All right. I think you're ready for cards. Let me recall and shuffle. So you get one card for free. Do you have a skill or an expertise that would help here?
Yeah, I have Comtech and Analysis. I think both of those apply.
Do you have the right tool for the job?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think I probably would have some of my like hacking gear with me. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I think, just for fun, I have some kind of beeping thing that can detect what I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah. So go ahead when you get a chance. Add to hacking tools or hacking programs, whatever works for you, to your gear. Do you have a significant advantage? Is there anything that we've established that would give you a special advantage in this situation?
I'm light on my feet. I guess we established that. I don't know if that gives a special advantage here or not.
You know what? Yeah, I think of all the people in the group that would climb up here and do this, you're probably the safest bet. So yeah, I'll give it to you. You got four cards. You can't go wrong.
Well,
you're doing the thing where you put them in your hand and then dramatically show them to us.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Miss. Oh, is that all? Oh boy.
All misses. Nothing can go wrong, Jason.
That's right. Well, it might take quite a bit of creativity, but did either of the other characters feel that there's any way they could help Bicker in this situation? No.
Not really.
No.
I'm on my own.
Right
I put myself in this situation.
All right, you sure did. All right, on a miss, you find only enough to allow the plot to move forward. Your findings are limited, obsolete, or unreliable. I think, in addition, I'll make a move. Yeah, I know what happens. So you've gotten up to like the cockpit, and there's like the pilot station, and then there's sort of like the electronics officer, like the co-pilot station, the navigator, and that's like where the computers and stuff are usually, the kind of stuff that you're into. So you've gotten there and you've pulled out your tools and whatnot, and there's enough power left in this thing to boot up, and it boots up, it's black screen, and then it comes up with, like we said, it's all like retro futurist, so it comes up with like a it has a bunch of weird graphics for some reason, like squiggly lines, and then it like looks like an oscilloscope kind of thing. But then it comes up with a DOS prompt, and you put in some commands, and you see that there's the black box is frazzed. It's blown up. Something's destroyed the recording. Nothing there, but there is a hidden directory that you find because you're a hacktivist, right? And it basically, you crack it, and it says something about open safe, yes, no, Y/N, right? You want to open the secret safe? Of course you do. And this little like console pops open right beside you, and you see that there's a carbon steel case right there, and it's like a little briefcase, but small, like a little carry-on, I guess, and it has Caliban core, prominently displayed, with their logo.
Caliban or Sycorax?
Caliban.
Oh, interesting.
You want to grab that, Jex?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I kind of just... Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, just out of force of habit, I sort of like look around a little bit before doing it, but it's sort of just an instinctive thing. Like I actually probably wouldn't notice if there's, say like a big scary monster nearby.
Sure.
I grab it and put it in my bag.
Do you want to open it up, or you just want to stash it for now?
I think I want to stash it for now.
Okay.
I think, Bicker's not, Bicker can be a little impulsive, but she at least knows better than to start opening the treasure chest, when she doesn't know that she's actually safe.
Okay, perfect. And like I said, just add hacking tools, then also add Caliban core box, I guess, to your equipment list so we remember. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. Let's check in back down on the ground floor where Beetle is sort of scrounging around with Johns. And Johns he's agitated, you can tell. He's like using his his shotgun to like push stuff around and looking around, but he seems agitated, and he's sort of muttering under his breath. He says, God damn it, it's not here. Where is it? God damn it.
What's not here?
He pulls you close, and I guess the only other person that we haven't, I think the only other person is probably coolly, let's say, smoking a cigarette, is our other NPC off to the side. And he pulls you aside and he says, these people, they found something, and they radioed in that it was something really hot, something, and they were in a big hurry to get out of there and basically bring this thing back and sell it, I think. And
how
what?
Like stolen?
I don't know. They said they found something out here.
No details on what it was?
No, they just
or where
said
it was?
They said it was worth a lot, and I was supposed to be ready to get them off planet once they got back.
Well, it looks like they're dead now. So,
but there were 6 of them, and you can see there's 5 here, right?
I'll
I don't
come
imagine
back
they got too far.
at that point. But
Is that where Harrow comes back in to the scene?
I mean, unless there's a conversation to be had with Reno about the trap.
Yeah, you could do
But
that too. Let me ask Beetle too. Do you
yeah,
want? Is it? Do you want to push on him to learn anything extra? He seemed to give that to you just because you're kind of on his good side right now. But is there anything
Yeah,
more?
yeah. I feel like there's something he's not, or I guess my question to him is, does anyone else know about it?
Okay, that's good. That's a good question. Uh, let's have that all rolled into the manipulate move.
Okay.
So for manipulate, trigger this move when you use charm, authority, negotiation, or logic to try to get someone to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, I think I'll be like,
And
look, we're on the same side here. we If we don't work together, we're not. None of us are going to make it back with whatever this is or not. So
mhm.
help me out.
And this one, you don't have to do a story. You can always, of course, if you want. But whenever you're ready, we can just go to the draw.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we're good to draw.
so you get one card automatically. Do you feel that you have an expertise that would help here?
Let's see. What's my expertise? I don't know if honorable comes into it. We're like, we got to work together. We like, even though we're prisoners and you're the guy, we are kind of a team now. So
I don't think so.
yeah, fair.
Uh, here's a spoiler. John's isn't so much into honor.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like you have the right tool for the job? Is there any special piece of gear that you might have that would help here?
Not for manipulate, no.
No. And significant advantage.
I think because we're buddies and we're in a tense situation, it feels like.
Yeah, yeah. I think he kind of wants to open up to you, have someone
Yeah.
on side with him. So yeah, I'll give that to you. So you got two cards.
All right, let's see what we get. Edge.
Okay. And
miss.
miss. Okay.
Cool.
On a hit,
Edge.
they must go along with you with what you're asking or choose to gain stress. On a 7 to 9, you must promise to do something for them in return. You may not manipulate them again until they get what they asked for. Okay, so you asked, does anyone else know about this? And he says, you know, if you want to work together, I'd be willing to split this with you. But if shit goes wrong, I need you to stand by my side, even if, you know, other people are on the other side of the coin. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure I do. Other side of the coin.
If, say, let's say we make a lot of money out of this, I'm willing to split it 2 ways, but I don't want to split it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 ways.
I understand. So, you and me, a team.
Right. Partners.
Partners. 2 partners together. And nobody else is going to come looking for this thing, whatever it is.
No, they only made communication with me. They found this thing. They were making their way back. Shit happened, but I'm the only one that they talked to.
All right. Shake on it. And I grab his hand and pull him towards me and shove my machete through his middle.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Where at this a whole bunch is going to kick off at this moment. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
So, Harrow, where might you be at this moment?
I think I'm walking back with Reno, but trying to get as much information as I can out of him. But we're in an action scene, so we can flash back to that later.
Yeah, we're not in a super big hurry. So, let me get a taste of what you're saying to Reno.
I say a trap. That's interesting. What looks like a trap to you?
didn't you hear the whistle and this dog suddenly appeared, and then the whistle again, and the dog
I-
suddenly disappeared,
I did.
and looks like somebody's been here before us. And he kind of points back to where the dead bodies are hanging from the trees or the tree.
You think they wanted us to find those bodies?
I think they wanted us to come here. I think we're going to be next.
Well, that whistle did sound like management.
Do
Okay.
you want to push for anything special to get out of Reno? Anything that would help you more than that? Do you want to trigger a move, basically?
Safety moves, right?
Yeah, it'd probably be a safety move. Yeah. Basically, the talkie moves are calm someone down and manipulate.
Right.
Or you could do one of the overwhelm moves if you want to throw that out there right now. Let me just, it's a good moment to take a look at those. Overwhelm moves, you could seek solace, you could behave badly, you could lose it, you could do better living through chemicals, you could do some drugs, you could go to sleep, or you could dish out a beatdown.
Let's see. I don't think that I don't know what other information I could get out of Reno. That just seems like his read of the situation, and that makes sense. I think that Harrow is a better living through chemicals kind of guy. I think I'm going to take out a tiny little tin, screw-on vial that has some pills in it, and take a pill and offer one to Reno.
Right. Yeah, he definitely will take it.
Oh, interesting.
And he says, well, might as well take the edge off before you die, right? So that
always works.
Yeah, let's do the overwhelm move then. You're doing better living through chemicals. When you have access to and use drugs to try to relax, describe your consumption of your supply and draw. You just did that. You must find more supply before you can use chemicals again. So if you want to do this again, you're gonna have to find some way to find more of your drug. On a hit, clear your stress. On an edge, choose one of the following. So we do the same thing. Do you feel that you have any expertise that would make you benefit from taking drugs better? It's a strange way to phrase it, but handle your drugs better, maybe.
It's definitely part of my white collar background. Let's just say that my tolerance probably isn't what it used to be, but at one point I was a champion with this stuff.
What I think I'll do, I won't give you that for the expertise, but I'll give you that for the right tool for the job. I'm going to assume that you have designer drugs. You have good drugs, right?
Yeah.
So unless you could make a good argument for expertise, we'll say no to that, but we'll say yes to tool. And then, do you have a significant advantage established?
I certainly have a need for this drug, which will calm me down, but keep me alert at the same time.
Probably not, actually. Probably, if anything, the opposite, because you've been trudging through this jungle all day, fighting dog monsters. You're probably in not a great state of mind and body to take drugs, but you're doing it anyways. So you got 2 cards. Let me recall and shuffle first. Recall, shuffle. Okay, 2 cards.
Okay. Miss.
All right.
So I don't clear my stress track even.
No, on a miss, all of the above, and the GM makes a move. So there's 4. If you look at the move, better living through chemicals. There's 4 on an edge. You'd have to choose one of these, but since you got a miss, you get all 4 of them. This is beautiful.
I think the drugs are expired. I think they've gone bad in the brain.
You're going to be loud. The drugs, make you lose your inhibitions, and you're being loud. I get to draw threat. You're dumb. Others can manipulate you with significant advantage while you're intoxicated. You're tired. You can't do more than stumble or crawl and mumble until a narratively appropriate period of time passes. And you're clumsy. You lose
Oh
something
boy.
important, or you suffer a hurt.
Hmm.
So the fourth one, I guess, is a choice you have. Do you want to lose something, or do you want to suffer a hurt? A hurt is sort of a minor injury. It'll cause you to have something you can't do until you gain some medical attention.
I'll lose the machete.
Okay. So yeah, you lose your machete. We'll come back to this. It's just sort of going to be sort of an ongoing thing for you for a while, probably, unless we establish some medical attention of some sort, maybe. But just give us a brief feel of like how this is hitting you, it's messing you up, and then we'll get back to where we left off.
I think this is a drug with a half-life, and when or there's some sort of always a risk inherent in taking this drug, and it's a sort of Russian roulette kind of drug, and it can make you feel icy cool, or it can take you on a trip from hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took the wrong one.
Right. So
I don't know if this applies to Reno too, but
yeah, that's a good point. I like you mentioned that because that'll give me a direction to go with my move that I get out of this also. All right, let me make a quick note because I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So we have Bicker up in the vehicle. You got a miss, and we got Beetle down below, and you didn't get a miss or anything, so nothing came out of your situation. And then we've got Harrow having a bad trip and a miss. So you,
I mean, it could be a great trip. It could be like just laughing goofily. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll let you. You can do it however you want, and I'll do the same with Reno. I think. Let me go back to. Let me go back up into the vehicle with Bicker. And Bicker, I'm going to play a card here. This card is called Something is Out There. The PCs describe what they see, hear, or sense that tells them that a monster is nearby waiting for a perfect opportunity. So you're sort of you've gathered up this box and you're making your way, to climb back down. And what do you see, hear, or sense that tells you that there's a monster lurking nearby?
I think as I'm sort of moving back through this space, I'm actually, now that I have this thing, I'm more careful, right? Like now it's like, oh, I have something I have to protect. And so like my spidey sense tingles a little bit is kind of like the first thing. And then I think actually I step in something, if that works. I step in, if it's some sort of viscera or, bodily fluid from the monster, I don't know, but like something, and I kind of like slip on it and look, and it's like, it doesn't look like it should be here. It doesn't look appropriate.
Right. Yeah, let's say it's it looks like some sort of fluid that's mostly dried, but things don't dry very quickly, of course, in this humid, warm environment. And it's sort of this green-looking fluid, and it kind of glows. It's kind of this weird. It looks like antifreeze almost, And yeah, so you find that, and when this is out there, it sort of allows me to trigger something on you guys when I get the moment. And then you move and you start to climb down, and I'm going to trigger another card. This one is called Something Breaks. You're moving down, climbing down this trunk through, and the whole tree above you starts to shake and rumble, and the vehicle starts to collapse, and it's going faster and faster, collapsing down towards the ground. And what are you gonna do?
So I'm still,
yeah.
I'm still inside it.
No, you're
Okay, I'm below it.
You're on,
Okay.
yeah, you're below it.
Gotcha.
And
And how high?
Go ahead.
How high up am I?
I would say you're probably high enough up to break something if you were to jump for it.
Yeah.
Now it's not guaranteed, but
Right.
the cards would tell us, but it certainly is a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I think I jump for it. I scurry down, I try to get as far away from it as I can in the time that I have, and then I jump.
Sure. Okay, great. Let us go to the card side. So this is a peril move now.
Yeah,
this is face adversity, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, face adversity, not run.
No, run is when you're running from like a monster.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So trigger this move, you try something dangerous, no other move is triggered. So you get a card for free. Do you have any expertise that would help here?
I don't think so. Maybe analysis, like I'm calculating the best place to land where I'm going to hurt myself least.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Sure. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there any equipment that you have that's helping you here?
No, definitely not.
Okay. And how about significant advantage?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you're looking at 2 cards.
Right. I'll do it one at a time this time. I'll be less dramatic.
Okay.
Well, maybe this is more dramatic, I guess. We'll see.
Oh, you're still putting it down your hand, but
I don't know.
You know how to do it?
I don't know how to just put it out on the...
Oh, what you do is you put your mouse like on the upper part of the card, and when you do, it'll sort of move a little bit, and then you just left click and hold it, and then you should be able to drag it.
Oh, okay. Well, this makes sense why I was the only one doing it this other way then. All right.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, that's a miss.
Okay. I think we established Harrow is in a bad place, but I could see Beetle perhaps helping if you want to.
Beetle is busy with murder.
Okay, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that.
Can we even? We might even. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We might even get like Bicker like calling out for Beetle, right? Because Beetle's been Bicker's bud so far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, it goes unanswered.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what happens with Beetle. I'm making it even more complicated. I'm banking all of these hard moves. But I want to see what happens with Beetle before I lay out what happens with Bicker. Okay. Let's see. So you walk up to John's and you try to stab him through with your machete.
Shook his hand and then pulled him into.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this. This is fight.
It sure is.
When you fight, you gain 1 stress. So give yourself a stress.
All right.
You get 1 card? Do you have an expertise that helps here?
Yes, I do. Melee combat.
That's perfect. Do you have the right tool for the job?
That machete is the correct tool for stabbing.
I think you're right. And significant advantage.
I fooled him into thinking we're buds and got him into a place where he was not expecting to be stabbed.
Yep. Go ahead. You got 4 cards.
All righty. Let's see what we can do.
Everyone's getting misses.
That's a miss.
There's 1. Yeah.
That's a miss. That's a miss.
Uh-oh.
That's a miss.
Well,
no.
All right. Nobody at all can help you either. I really don't see how that's possible. Geesh. All right. Let me read one thing before I forget. with your miss on your taking drugs, Chris, I want to see. I remind myself what that means. Oh, you're going to be loud. Let me do that now before I forget. I get to draw a threat because you're loud. So, and because I have the Falcon, I get 2 threat cards. Let me give myself 2 threat cards. All right. Okay, so what happens? Putting this all together. Let me call and shuffle. I'm going to throw another card out there, another threat card called Monster Attack. Oh, and yet another card too. Why not? This one is called Tension Builds. Introduce the next monster and then remove and shuffle. So another monster is going to join our story, the next one up in the power level. So it's this one here. Flip it. This one is called Cat and Mouse. PCs describe what they see, hear, or sense. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to do that myself here in a second. Until the monster is destroyed or evaded. It basically works the same as a Falcon, but it also, if it gets a chance, it does an unseen attack. The victim must make a suffer serious harm draw. So what happens is that, and on your fight, by the way, if you get a miss, you exchange harm as established, and I get to make a move. I think. Let me make sure I got that right. On a miss, you fail to cause harm. The threat harms you, and the GM makes a move. Okay. I think what happens is the vehicle comes crashing down. Bicker, split second ahead of it, falling to the ground, and it's potentially going to crush Bicker. Johns is going to push you away, and or maybe he's going to punch you. Okay. So I think you got a good surprise on him. So even though with a miss, I'm only going to give you a point of stress. So take a point of stress just for getting physically, punched in the face.
So do we understand that Johns is unhurt?
Johns is unhurt.
Intercept
He was unhurt until the vehicle crashes down and crushes him. Okay. So Johns is a goner.
Question: How solid is this punch?
Probably pretty solid. You thinking about using your card to try to?
Yeah. Can we change it from a punch to him, like butting me with his shotgun?
Sure.
All right.
What are you thinking that triggers for you?
Yeah, I'm going to reveal my agenda, but
okay. Sure.
as soon as someone notices.
Okay. Yeah. So he hits you hard with the butt of his rifle or whatever. You go tumbling backwards, and that actually saves your life because the vehicle comes crushing down, smashes Johns, potentially is going to smash Bicker. What happens with Harrow we'll cover in a second. Bicker, I'm going to have you actually. Let's take a break and we'll come back. Build some tension. Let's see if Bicker survives when we return. Let's go ahead and take 10 minutes. I'm going to get some stuff, go to the bathroom, whatnot. So I'll see you guys in 10. You got one of those classic spiraling miss after miss situations in PBTA you see sometimes.
Yeah, I love it.
When you're a GM, you're like, well, okay, the first hard move won't be too bad, but then you feel like the next one's got to be a little harder, and the next one's got to be harder than that, So when they all come in like in line like this, when you reach the end, you're like, oh my god, I have to kill somebody. Mark, I'm sure you just signed up for both of them, but I'm running this again in August, and you're on the wait list. I just want to let you know that, I mean, you're free to stay on the wait list, but it's going to be the same scenario. I mean, it might be totally different looking, but if you want to stay on the wait list and play again, I'm perfectly cool with that. But if you don't want to play the same scenario again, I'm cool with you, not playing also. Whatever you want.
Take a look, make sure. All of them for accidentally.
I think I figured out my drug.
Yeah.
I think when it works, it's like this lucid dream where everything's just unreal enough that you're not stressed and you can act effectively. But it's caused a psychosis in me where I think that this whole thing is like, some elaborate augmented reality situation in a corporate meeting somewhere, like a board meeting.
Okay. All right.
Team building. It's team building.
Yeah.
Or like it's a demo for some new technology. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll be curious to see how that plays out. All right. So let me take a brief moment, just kind of lay out, a lot happened all at once, and even more is about to happen now. But, down on the ground floor, a short distance away, Harrow and Reno were walking back from discovering this body without a spine or a skull, and doing some drugs, as you do. And meanwhile, in the clearing, Beetle had made a deal with Johns and then murdered him, and but that didn't work out well, and tried to murder him. And meanwhile, Bicker was climbing back down, and the boughs of the tree, the branches had collapsed, and the vehicle came down and crushed Johns as Bicker jumped for her life. And let us pick up there then. So Bicker, you are going to need to do a move called I think it's called Suffer Serious Harm. It's under special moves. You can also find it under the harm handout, but special move called Suffer Serious Harm. When you suffer potentially lethal harm that might be mitigated by luck, your skills, or your gear, draw a card from the resolution deck. Draw an additional card if you have an applicable expertise. Do you have an expertise that might help you survive this fall?
No, I don't think so. Unless we can double up on that, analyzing to try to aim towards something softer.
No,
but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think your analysis was out the window with this.
Yeah, I think so.
The harm isn't explicitly lethal. Unfortunately, I think it is. No, I described it. You might break something, so I'll say no. I'll give you that one. So you get a card for that. It's not explicitly lethal, although the thing falling on you would probably be lethal. So let me take that back. I'm going to say it's lethal. The harm is accidental or unintentional. What do you guys think? I'll go with the table.
It feels like a pretty bad accident.
Yeah.
All right.
And no one's intentionally harming me, and I'm not intentionally harming myself.
All right, we'll give you that one. So you're at the 2 cards. Do you have body armor, cover, or a bodyguard?
Sure, I have some body armor.
I think he's going to need it.
Yeah, describe for me your body armor. Remember, you have basic gear, so you're not
Right.
going to have like a
Yeah, no,
power suit.
Right. No, I think it would be pretty lightweight stuff. It'd be, flak jacket, Kevlar vest kind of thing.
Okay. Let me say, I'll let you have that. Put it on your equipment sheet. However, I may turn it against you later on, depending on how things go. But
I
we'll
would
go with
expect
that
you
for
to
now.
do no less.
So you're at 3 cards to save your life. If you don't get at least some sort of hit, you're dead.
All right. Well,
No
here's
problem.
the
Let me recall and shuffle. Hold on. Recall. Oops. Recall. Shuffle. Okay, 3 cards. Miss. Edge, yay. All right, so you, let's see, on an edge, you gain a hurt. All right, so I mentioned it earlier, but let's take a moment and learn about hurt. So if you go, there's a folder called Game Concepts. There's a handout called Harm. There's several levels of harm. The one I just gave to Beetle is just a point of stress. The next level up is a hurt. Describe the injury using the narrative for your direction. It isn't life-threatening. It isn't life-threatening, but limits the character in some important way until they receive medical care. So I'll leave that to you, Bicker. What kind of hurt do you think you receive in this fall? You're muted.
I had been unmuted and muted myself to talk. I think I didn't get completely clear, right? Like I think that like my lower leg or something landed underneath this thing. And so probably to even move, there's going to be some nasty stuff that'll need to happen.
Okay.
I got you, bro.
All right. So you're.
If only someone had a machete.
Yeah. Put your. Right.
I can do you one better.
Put your hurt. There's a spot on your card for hurt. Put like pinned or something like that, right? Leg pinned or something along those lines. All right. So you had another miss. I just turned that into more threat cards for myself. So they took care of that. Then let's check in with Harrow. So Harrow, you're not too far away, and you're believing you're in a simulation of some sort. And you see Reno turns and he kind of looks up in the trees, like behind you, like or maybe like he looks up in the trees like across like this, like the other guys are in front of you. This thing is crashed down. There's leaves and branches that are kind of tumbling down, and from this whole thing. And through this tumult of foliage, he's looking across up in the trees, and he says, "The colors are so beautiful." And these 3 red laser beams appear on his forehead, and a blast of plasma energy comes out of the forest and blows his head off. Reno's a goner. You look that way, and you see up in the trees a figure, a large figure, larger than a human, up in the trees, and it has some sort of high technology cloaking. You can kind of see its silhouette. And did I move you guys to this? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And you get like a flash of red light across your eyes also, and you see that there's like this little thing on the shoulder of this thing that sort of turns your way, and you see this energy building up in this, presumably a weapon of some sort in this simulation. It's a very good simulation.
I mean, it's a compelling technology demo. It's a shame Reno had to leave the meeting.
Yeah. What you're going to need to do, so I use 1 move to kill Reno, and then I'm going to, let me go ahead and get back to this. Here we go. Let me go ahead and mark out Reno. We're down to 1 NPC. Everything's going well. Let me mark out Reno. He knew his time had come. You're going to need to do, I'm going to trigger this thing on my other card I played earlier, the something is out there. When this card is in play, the GM may have a threat appear out of nowhere and force a PC to immediately have to stare into the void. When this happens, remove the card and shuffle the deck. Okay. So I'm going to need you to do the stare into the void move. This is just to like pull yourself together to be able to do something before something happens to you here. So let's look at the stare into the void move. This is a peril move. Before we do it, maybe just describe to me, what is it, how is it you try to pull yourself together to do something? What is it psychologically, physically? What is it you do to try to like take action before something bad happens?
I think there's a vague knocking at the back door of my brain that is trying to tell me that I'm in immediate mortal danger. And I think I interpret it as a virtual digital assistant trying to get my attention about like I see it as like DOS text printing out on the screen of my eyes.
Okay, right, and
overlaid over the simulation.
Yeah, and the red light of this laser beam, this targeting beam from this monster, it probably enhances that. It makes it more realistic.
Yeah, there's something telling me you have an urgent meeting in 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Same as always, let's figure out what your draw is. So, do you have a expertise that would help in this moment? Your intelligence is been temporarily taken out of play due to your drug situation.
Well, let's see. I have my stay cool agenda.
Does that give you? It doesn't give you an expertise, though.
It does not explicitly give you an expertise.
No, it doesn't give you an expertise. No, I'm afraid not. Okay. Manipulation probably wouldn't help here either. No. Yeah. So I think you're out of luck. Do you have a piece of equipment that would help you in this situation?
Nope, not even my brain.
Do you have a significant advantage of any sort?
No. I mean, for expertise, I could draw on my years of corporate management experience, but I don't know that would count here.
No, I'm not seeing it.
All right, then I'm drawing one.
I think you're drawing one, yeah.
This could be it for me.
Could be.
All right, is it shuffled?
Yes.
Dumb luck, here we go. Yeah, it's a miss.
All right. Beetle, I could see an argument where you could help. Do you want to help to get him? Maybe you see Harrow standing like a moron over there, or you just let it happen.
Well, let's see.
You I'm sure recognize this as a crosshairs.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, you look over and you see these three.
I was going to go help Bicker, but I think like Harrow's in the more immediate danger. So yeah.
Okay. So this is to help him snap out of it. So what is it you do or say to help him snap out of it and do something?
Idiot, get down.
Okay, I think that fits. You take a stress, which will take you to 5. And you get to draw 1 card for each card that Harrow has up. So he has 2 cards up. He has his agenda and his roll. So you get to draw 2 cards and try to get something to help him here.
Let's see what we get.
Opportunity. All right. And a miss. So you can give him the opportunity.
Does that mean I mark stress if I take it?
Yes. And then you have to decide if you want to mark stress to take it.
Yeah.
For sure. Because the alternative is death, right? I mean,
yeah.
We've established that clearly.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not death. It's just that in the parlance of the game, what happens is the monster will do its worst, which is listed as worst is unseen attack. So it could very well lead to death. Yes. But I presume you're going to take the triumph.
I will max out my stress.
Yeah.
It seems only fair after Beetle did the same on my behalf.
Oh, you guys are both maxed out? Oh, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, both of you go ahead and take that 5th stress. Start thinking about those overwhelm moves, even in the moment, in the moment of great danger. you have to find a way to. You can do things still, but well, we'll come back to that. Let's finish out this. So you got a triumph. Let's see. On a hit, you manage to act before the threat does its worst. Right? And on edge, you'd have to choose something, but on a triumph, you don't have to choose anything. So now, a blast of white hot, thousands of degrees plasma energy comes flying at you from up in these trees. Now, what are you going to do, Harrow?
I get down like the voice said.
Right. Try to leave the meeting. Let's see. I guess that would be hide, or do you want to have it be face adversity? Do you want to like try to get out of the viewpoint of this thing, like on a more permanent basis, or you just want to make that dot jump to the side kind of thing?
I'm looking at the moves.
That I'm looking at. Depending on how you want to do this. How do you want to frame it? It could be hide. Describe how you briefly break contact with a threat and find someplace to hide. It could be run.
I think
it could be run, or it could be face adversity.
I think I'll run.
Okay. And
Run
you had to
towards me, yeah.
Do you want? Yeah, I guess I was gonna say that there is a path that goes out through the forest away from this place. So do you want to turn around and go that way? Up the ridge line, or do you want to go towards Beetle?
I think I'm gonna go toward Beetle.
Okay. So you run over towards Beetle. We'll take care of that in a moment.
Sure.
Let me check with Beetle. I know that Mark, you were saying you were thinking about maybe triggering one of your cards or something.
I'm just gonna walk calmly towards Harrow, and when I get close enough, just put myself in between him and the thing shooting.
Okay.
Yep.
Does that trigger your card?
It will when the Harrow sees me.
Okay. All right. So should we go ahead and just do Taro's run move then?
Yeah.
All right. So work with the GM to describe a hectic chase. So I think we probably see, that plasma blast misses you as you try to run. But we already established that your part of your side effects of your drugs is you can only stumble and crawl. So it's pretty miserable. Like you're getting covered in like mud and like plants and rolling around and like trying to go a couple steps and running into a tree trunk, and it's pretty miserable, but you're doing your best you can, right? And anything else you want to add? Any other details to the hectic chase?
I maybe that I'm just sort of taking the most direct route toward Beetle. I'm getting smacked in the face with all this vegetation.
Right. It's probably not that far, but because you're so high and you're so scared and you're so everything, it probably seems like a million miles. But Beetle's apparently he's just calmly walking towards you as these plasma bursts are like, exploding around you. So that's the scene. All right, let's see how this works. Expertise. Do you have any expertise? And again, I'm afraid you can't use your intelligence, given your situation.
I don't think I have expertise.
All right. Do you have
no, I have no expertise.
Do you have any the right tool for the job?
No.
And do you have advantage?
No.
No, I don't think so. All right. And Beetle is maxed out on stress, so Beetle can't help you either. So this is one card, and it is what it is, right?
All right. Let's see. Miss.
And it's a miss. All right, on a miss. Woo, I made it. No, you didn't. Stare into the void, and the GM makes a move before you fight or hide. I think, given the situation, I'm going to skip the stare into the void. We just did that. So I think what happens is that you're moving. You think you're moving as fast as you can, but you're moving incredibly slowly. And this thing just sort of leaps from like 20, 30 feet up in the air down to the ground beside you. And it like you can only see it like these facets because it still has this camouflage, but it's right close to you, and it's like 8 feet tall, probably 400 some pounds, and it's like it kind of like twists its wrist a little bit, and these long blade comes out, like this wrist blade comes out, and it's going to try to pierce and lift you up into the air and end your misery. You're going to need to do the same move that Vicar did. You're going to need to do suffer serious harm.
Okay.
Would I be able to get in between them in time?
If your card is giving you something, sure. If you have an agenda that works here.
Yeah. When I think Harold looks up to me and sees like half my face smashed off.
Yeah.
And just milky white liquid dripping down. And I think I just walk like he must be pretty close to him to do the stabby thing. I just walk right between them and drop my machete on the ground.
Okay. So you're not trying to mess with what it's doing.
No, I'm just trying to interpose myself and show that I'm not a threat.
Okay, so let's read this for our thousands of viewers. Artificial person. It's a robot. Ash is a goddamn robot, Parker. Reveal this card when you choose to make it clear you are a synthetic person or you are wounded in a way that exposes your milky white blood. As soon as the story allows, make your prime directive. I'll leave that to you for later to kind of establish what your prime directive is here. You don't gain stress, so you can get rid of all that stress in your card. That was all just an act. You were pretending to be stressed. By default, they don't need to breathe, unaffected by cold or vacuum, are immune to poison and pathogens, need not sleep, etc., etc. Most xenomorphs ignore synthetics unless they prove themselves to be a threat. You get three other expertise: strong, fast, and hardy, and you win if you follow your prime directive until its logical conclusion. All right, so that brings us back. You see now, on top of everything else that's happened to you, realize that Beetle is a synthetic who is taking no action to help you, it sounds like.
I'm putting myself.
Oh, no, he is. He's.
I see. You're putting yourself in the way?
Interposing myself because I know it probably won't attack me as long as I'm not holding a weapon or whatever.
I think, given the way the cards have gone, I think he's still got to face I think the best you could. I guess what you could do. I should add to this card. In fact, I'll make a note. I should add to this card that synthetics cannot aid or help because you don't take stress. The whole the counterpoint to helping is the stress. So since you can't take stress, I'll have to figure out how to work that in. But but I think for now, I think I'm still going to say you can't help. So I think if you could have helped, I would have said that maybe that could have been you helping him if he gets on his miss. But I'm going to say you can't. So I'm still going to force Harrow to have to suffer serious harm. Now, if you get a triumph, it's not going to hit you. Maybe we'll narratively describe it as it getting distracted by Beetle. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how that draw works. Let me recall. Let me shuffle. All right, Harrow, if you go to the special moves.
I see it.
Suffer serious harm. You get one card. Do you have an expertise that would help you survive this wound?
I can't imagine what that would be.
No. Do you have any special, the right tool? Do you also have body armor similar to Bicker?
I could say I have body armor. Yeah.
Okay, sure. That's fair. So you got two cards now. Is the harm accidental or unintentional?
Nope.
No. Do you have sufficient body armor, cover, or a bodyguard? You know what? I'll give you that. That's a good way to
bodyguard.
Yeah, you're the bodyguard.
Okay.
Okay, good. So you're at 3 cards.
Okay. Let's see what they are. Edge. That's good.
Nice.
Opportunity. Oh, my stress is maxed out, and I haven't done my overwhelmed move, so I can't take stress. No. But I got an edge. So I got a mixed success. So what does that do?
You still get one more, right? I see. It's hidden under there. Okay, great.
2 edges.
Edge. You take a harm. So this is a wound. Let me describe it again. Describe the injury using the narrative or direction. Maybe it isn't life-threatening, but limits the character in some important way until they receive medical care. What do you think this might be?
Well, I mean, I could get stabbed in the gut, just in a way that isn't immediately lethal.
Sure. Let's say your body armor saves your life, and it doesn't. It slices up into your guts, and it cuts you badly, but it doesn't like pierce your vital organs. But you're like extremely bruised in your abdomen, so probably any sort of movement is going to be very difficult. You're going to be even slower than you were before. In fact, you're honestly at this point you're pretty immobile. With the drugs and with the wound now. Maybe Beetle getting in the way, confuses it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check in with Bicker, pinned down by the wreckage. Bicker, you're witnessing all this. You're probably, I don't know, say 5 meters away, something like that. Do you have anything you want to do or any input?
Yeah, so I can see this the xenomorph thing.
You can see the sort of like the silhouette, the cloaked silhouette of this thing as it is attacking and messing up Arrow. It pierces him. It throws him into the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like staring down Beetle now. It has these eyes. You can see its eyes glow red for a moment as it's staring right at Beetle.
Yeah. And the reason it's not doing anything to Beetle is because it doesn't perceive Beetle as a threat, right?
That's a hypothesis, sure.
Sure. I mean, that's the word. Okay. Well, I might need a little help figuring out the actual positioning on how to do this, but I would like to lure someone into an area with a monster or release a monster that's been trapped or captured. My thinking is somehow getting it to actually take an interest in Beetle. I don't know if there's an angle I'm from where I can just throw a rock at it or something and make it seem like it came from Beetle, something like that.
You want it to attack Beetle?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm basically revealing my agenda card here, which is Xenocultist.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so
I think we might be on the same side.
Go ahead and flip the card and let me read it, and I'll help you try to figure out how we can put this into action. If you just right-click it, you should have flip cards.
There we go.
So again, for our thousands of fans, Xenocultist. Reveal this card when you lure to or trap someone in an area with a monster or release a monster has been trapped or captured. You can hinder other PCs for free when your interference would increase the chances that they will be sacrificed to the monsters. You reduce your stress by 1 when you spout some religious mumbo jumbo when a monster enters the scene, and you win if you're the only one left and sacrifice yourself then to the monster. Do you want to do the bit about the religious mumbo jumbo? Do we hear you say or whisper or something that shows that you're a Xenocultist?
Yeah, I think it's some sort of language that no one would understand, right? And just kind of starting as sort of a whisper and kind of growing in volume as I'm realizing this thing is here, this thing is in front of me, I can make a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think we might have more traction. Do you want to try to figure out a way to bring, let's say, we have an NPC still.
Mm-hmm.
You might. How about if you're what's her name? Swift. Swift, kill it, shoot it, Swift, shoot it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's really good. Yeah. So maybe only the camera catches me with the chanting. Maybe the other PCs don't catch that yet. And yeah, that's exactly, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I do.
Okay. So go ahead and reduce your stress for 1 for spouting religious mumbo jumbo. And you're drawing someone into the action, into the fight. I think that covers that bit. I don't think you need to do a draw. I think what happens is Swift does indeed. Actually, let's do it because we're here to try moves and stuff. So let's do a move. This is another special move. This is NPCs do their thing. Swift is a contract killer. We established earlier that she has a pistol, so she opens fire on this thing, in a professional manner. When an NPC is assigned a task to do on their own, they successfully complete, unless it's under duress, which it is. In that case, the PC is the one that makes the draw. On a hit, they succeed. Blah blah blah. So, what you're going to do is we're going to establish if Swift has an expertise that would fit here, and I think she does. She has firearms, so she has that. Does she have the right tool for the job? She has a pistol, which is going to have some effect, but it's not going to be enough to really seriously damage this thing. So I'm going to say no to that part. Is there a significant advantage? Anybody have does Swift have any sort of advantage here? Anybody make an argument?
I mean, just that the thing's attention is elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's very.
And maybe it has become visible briefly. Did we say that?
Yeah, I think it's probably covered in some of your blood, and it's been there in one spot long enough that I think you guys can kind of more or less see it. So yeah, we'll give her that. So she's got 1, 2, 3. So Jax, go ahead and draw 3 cards for Swift.
So one thing though is that this is what I'm telling her to do, but it's not what I want to actually happen, right? So can I actually hinder here?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So let's see how she does, and then you can hinder.
Okay. So I do was it 3 first, and then I can hinder if I
That's
need
right.
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're drawing the cards, but it's really she's drawing the cards.
Right. Okay, so edge, miss.
Okay, and then again, I'll make a note to add this to the rules. I think in most PBTA, I don't usually hindering is usually just for PCs, but I like the idea of using it. It fits so well with your agenda and stuff that let's just go ahead and have you draw 1 card. Take a stress.
Oh, I don't have to. Well, it says for
right.
PCs, but if we're gonna expand it, I don't have to take a stress.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so just draw 1 card then, and let's see if you can get a miss to replace her edge. And you did. So she gets a miss. So this thing, she shoots it. It pierces it's apparently its shoulder, and some of this glowing green blood starts to sort of spill out, and it lets out a cry, like a roar, and it kind of snaps out of its reverie, and it pulls from its hip this weapon that it's it appears. Let's say because it'll be. I think at the moment is here where let's say that the shooting it also temporarily at least deactivates its cloak. So here it is. I'm sure you guys are kind of guessing what we're getting at here. And it appears this horrible looking thing. I think everyone's seeing it gain a stress. Although nobody gains stress. You guys are either maxed out or you're a synthetic, or you probably like seeing it, Vicar. You probably think it's great. You've heard about this thing somehow, and you have come to worship them. So it appears it pulls from its hip this round, sharp, frisbee-looking thing, and it slings it, and it flies across this clearing. And it chops off Swift's head, and she falls down. Her head goes one way, her body goes the other. Then it runs into the forest and sort of jumps up into the trees. Its cloak goes back on. It's sort of like some rippling lightning energy, and its cloak goes back on, and it disappears out into the forest.
Are we all not dead?
We are all not dead.
I think I say a little help.
And I haven't done my overwhelm move, so.
Oh yeah. You know what? I need to have 5 minute breather after all that. So let's take
Yeah.
5, even if it's a little early, and we will come back and we will catch up on all the fallout from this. Okay. All right. So, just to kind of get you guys thinking. So, um, remember in Zombie World and in this game, when you flip a card, it becomes public knowledge. Okay, so everybody knows that Beetle's a synthetic. Everybody knows that Bicker is now a xenocultist. They saw enough of that evidence, or they heard some muttering or something, to put one and one together. And so, we'll see what comes of that. We also need to, Harrow, you're going to have to think of an overwhelm move. Okay. So we'll come to you. And if you don't take one, then I will take control of your character and have you do something stupid. So think about that. And then Beetle, you have to establish publicly, what your prime directive is.
Yeah, I got it.
This is like an Alien where they find out that Ash is a synthetic, and now all bets are off, and Ash just makes it very clear what he's about.
Yeah.
So let's just paint the scene where we're at. So Bicker's off to one side, trapped underneath the wreckage. Her leg is underneath the wreckage. Not badly damaged otherwise, but if you can get her out of there, then she'll be okay. And maybe a few meters into the jungle outside this clearing, as Harrow's laying there, you're breathing very painfully, bleeding not badly, but enough, bleeding and busted up and in a bad place. Let's start with Beetle. Beetle, what do we see you do? The monster has run off and disappeared.
I think since Harrow seems to be pretty out of it, I think Beetle's first objective is to get Bicker out from under the ship. And I have 2+ strongs now.
Yeah, I'm not going to have you draw. I think we've established it. You go over there. You just described to me what it looks like.
Yeah, I think I just go over there and like Bicker sees my bashed in robot face with the white milky blood. I think I just kind of like look at where the leg is and say, "Can you move?"
It hurts, but I can move.
Then you don't need my help. All right.
No. I mean, I can't. I think I misunderstood actually what you were.
I was asking if you were pinned underneath there.
Oh, I thought you had lifted it and then.
Oh yeah, no. Then I go ahead and just lift the ship up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of squeeze my way out of there, and it like my leg is still fucked up, but like obviously now I at least can move around. Thank you. What happened to your face?
John's damaged me.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of damaged right now, aren't we?
My name's not really Beetle. It's Tony.
Tony
3.
Okay.
I'm a Caliban Tony 3.
Okay. Well, it's good to meet you.
John's is under there, dead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Fuck that guy.
Look, I was not apprehended. That's ridiculous. I was sent here by the Caliban Corporation to wipe out Sycorax on this world.
Huh.
Apparently, I'm not the only one. They sent a Reaper as well.
That's what that was.
I imagine.
We call
Now,
them
Becker,
something else.
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
You seem to recognize it.
I thought so. Anyway, it's a long story. I think we need to get out of here. Harrow, are you? I don't know. We need to. I think there's like a beat as I'm like trying to decide whether to show Beetle whether I have this thing that I recovered or not. And at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be able to get out of here on my own. So
Mhm.
I take it out of my bag and hold it up.
You want to open it?
Yeah, I guess so.
So you open it up. It's like in Pulp Fiction with the golden light, and it's this thing's inside of it. It looks like some sort of weapon. In fact, it looks very familiar to you now, especially probably to Harrow. This is the thing that was on the shoulder of that creature. It's sitting, nestled inside this box.
This might actually be a fighting chance. I don't say that. I'm in the mud, but I don't even see it.
Let's go to Harrow, actually. So Harrow, hopefully got a chance. Check out the overwhelm moves. Does any of them look like?
I mean, the one that seems to fit is lose it. My whole deal is
Yeah.
staying cool, and misery is stacked on misery. I don't want to describe how I experience it until I draw, because
Sure.
maybe this knocks me out of my chemical psychosis, or maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe.
So
So this is a matter
how many cards
of
do I draw?
how well you can handle your emotions. So, do you have an expertise that would help you deal with incredibly high amounts of emotion?
I think I try to avoid high amounts of emotion whenever possible.
Yeah, you know what? Your stay cool and your intelligence. I know you're in a bad place, but I'll give that to you. I think those together is enough. So
Okay.
let's give you that. Do you have a tool, any sort of special piece of gear that might help you to bring your emotions under control?
Unless you're willing to say that I have a come down pill.
Um, yeah. I'll
Okay.
just say though, like many times, if you miss on this, it's going to make my hard move that much more juicy. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So we see you. What does that look like? Another pill? You take out another little
Yeah.
box or something?
Yeah.
Pop a pill. All right. Okay, I'll give you that. So that's another card. Do you have a significant advantage of any way?
I'm in the mud. I've just been attacked. I'm
Yeah.
immobilized in
Yeah.
pain. Yeah.
So I think you got 3 cards.
All right. Let's see what happens. Oh, great. Triumph.
Great. All right, great.
Just
You don't need. Yeah.
the
Once you get the
record, the other
triumph.
two are misses. I know. Yeah. But
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
So
I clear all
I
my
think that means
stress.
you clear stress. So
Uh,
you still have your harm, but you clear your stress. I'll say your your intoxication is starting to fade. So we'll say you can at least walk, competently. Maybe
okay.
we'll sort that out, but we'll say you're coming down. You're coming out of it.
Okay. So yeah, I realized that everything that's been happening for the last 5 minutes is actually very real. There's no simulation. There's no virtual desktop assistant. I'm and it just all comes crashing in at once, and I think I am just furious.
Mm-hmm.
So I have if I understand the move correctly, I have a spurt of losing it, and then that helps.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
cool again. So I just start swearing up and down. God damn it, motherfucking shit! This fucking planet, this fucking people. What the hell? Whose idea was this? I hate this planet. I wish I'd never worked for Caliban. I don't know what I'm doing here. I should be in a hot tub.
Right. He stumbles out of the jungle saying all this, covered in mud and leaves and twigs and stuff, bleeding, a little bit of a comic relief after all the tension. So the 3 of you, yeah, you're back. It's only the 3 of you now, though.
I'm like dusting myself off and just.
Let me say, Beetle, I like your prime directive. I'm going to tell you there's something else at play here, though, beyond outside your knowledge. That I'll just put that out there.
Cool.
What was your prime directive
Yeah.
again? Or is
He's got a,
I'm helping Caliban destroy the Sycorax presence on this planet,
oh, interesting. Okay.
which I assume includes the laborers. But I think because Harrow has said that he's worked for Caliban before, right?
Yeah, I should.
So I think that Beetle, like, after like seeing that you are mobile and aware again, she's like, "What do you need me to do next?"
So I think I've effectively revealed my background already, which is that I used to work here. Not just work for Caliban, but work on this planet.
right.
And that well, this is an interesting turn of events. I will say we need to get off world. I don't know how we do that, but you look like a capable Caliban unit.
Technically, all the human resources are expendable, but I've grown to. You're my friends.
Let me.
I didn't know Friends was in the programming.
I'm a Tony 3.
Oh, great.
Let me say, looking at your card that you just flipped, Harrow, that is really interesting. And one of the parts is once procession reveal a secret about this place, it gives you significant advantage on your draw. What I would suggest that maybe where the secret way of escaping is nearby. That would be narratively convenient, right? So you tell me what that might be. Where is it, or what is it you need to get to that will allow you to escape from this bad situation?
So I think there was originally an ambitious project by Caliban to terraform this place.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was overmatched by the hostile environment. And somewhere there may still be intact a bunker with an escape launch in it.
Okay. And let's say it's that path that you discovered. It's back that way. It's up, up through the jungle, up to this ridge line. That may be a way to get out of this, right?
Okay. I'm still not walking around so well because of the whole abdomen wound, but yeah. All right. So yes, if it's still where we put it, and Caliban things tend to stay where we put them, then we go this way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to carry you?
Yes, please. I think that would be entirely appropriate.
Probably like fashion some sort of sling or on the back. I'm double strong, so should be pretty easy.
Sure.
And knowing that you're a Tony 3, I'm going to be very polite because I do not want to get on your bad side. That is entirely possible.
And Bicker, do you put that weapon back in your satchel or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I think once I see that the Caliban Tony 3 is going to be carrying Harrow, because I think I initially probably was going to offer it up, but yeah, I kind of take it and hold on to it. How big is it?
It's about yay long.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking it'd be kind of funny to like use it as a crutch since my leg's all fucked up. But
it's pretty small. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I think, is going through the forest. I think we have a move for this, a location move called walking and talking. When you move through a potentially dangerous area for the first time, do the following steps. Describe what kind of passage it is. How do you get from A to B? what are a couple of genre appropriate features? How does the group travel? What's the method? I think we kind of describing it, but you can spell that out more clearly. Someone will tell a story, which represents just sort of the chit chat on your travel, and then we'll do a draw. So let me start. I don't know who I've called on last, so I'm going to go with Chris. Chris, tell us a little bit about your passage, what it looks like.
Okay, yeah. I'll call out landmarks of machinery that's all but hidden in the forest as we walk through. I'll be like, see, this was the break room, and this led to this really amazing racquetball court. But over here, this is where the real magic happened. This was the atmosphere containment, atmosphere transformation unit. And you'll notice there are a lot of flying things on this planet. There's a biome transformation unit over here, and it got as far. Its job is to cut chisel marks into the food chain, and it got as far as getting rid of all the insects, and that killed off what passed for birds on this planet. It would have been great. It could have all been amazing. And then we must have angered the forest. It seems to have a grudge.
Okay. And Jax, can you add any other detail or feature to this?
I think I don't know exactly what it looks like, so any thoughts here would be great. But I think there's some sort of sign or symbol of this cult that worships the creatures native to this planet. Some sort of symbol, maybe Bicker happens to notice it, and we.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Like we weren't, like maybe the forest took out the machines, but the creature took out the people.
Okay, I like that. Sure. And Mark, do you have any other detail, or do you want to tell us, how you guys travel?
I think because this is kind of like going up a ridge, you said.
Through the jungle, kind of a ridge. Sounds like there's a lot of like old machinery and break rooms and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty dense, but we come around like a bend that has like clear on the mountainside, and we can see where we were and just see like the big scorch mark where the VTOL crashed. It's like it's almost pretty, like the pattern of debris and stuff.
Sure. And you guys, are you trying to go quickly, quietly, sneaking? What do you think? What kind of travel do you guys? How do you move? I guess. Anybody
I would
have an
think
idea?
slowly, given that my leg is all fucked up, and Caliban Tony 3, despite being double strong, is carrying Harrow.
Yeah.
Sure.
Agree.
Okay. Let's go. Oh, and a story. Does anybody share a story that tells us something about their character? Anybody have one in mind? Is fine. Let me ask you this, because I think it's something sort of the elephant in the room. Remember, you guys know, including Harrow, that Bicker is a xenocultist. That he has some sort of religious appreciation for this monster. I'm wondering if a story can come out of that from anybody.
I think I would want to tell a story about creatures like this creature picking off people working for Caliban, and just one by one, and the terror in the night, the uncertainty, and then when we found out what was happening, how it was even worse. and the the terror of seeing the bodies the next day with the skulls and spines ripped out, and at night hearing the screams of people as that was happening to them. It's just so awful. I thought what I'd seen before was a corporate report on the damage, and now I know it's happening again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm like, and Bicker, these things are your jam. It sounds like.
I think as you were telling this, like talking about this, like you noticed that Bicker sort of faintly started, chanting.
Oh, okay. So I don't even have to say anything. I just look at you sidelong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to
trail
so
off.
my whole thing of like we call them something different when Caliban Tony 3, I'm just gonna call you Beetle still if that's okay, brought up that is my thinking was almost that like the cult worships like the other like alien monsters here, but the Reaper is maybe something different. And so like that's not what I worship, or that's not like the object of my Xeno cult. But I assumed it was. I mean, I'm still making a sacrifice to it, so I assumed it was related somehow. So then that information from Tony 3 about it being a Reaper or whatever kind of took me off guard a little bit. If that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, I like the sense that Xeno threats might be connected in the sort of constellation of divinity for you. Anything sufficiently alien and dangerous might have be in that halo.
Okay, I like it. So let me add one more of the detail. I think as you're moving up through this jungle, up this ridge, it gets more clear. The jungle isn't as thick, and it's more buildings. So you're moving more into like a street and like across the roof of a building over to another building, it's connected by like vines or like a tree trunk or something. So it's becoming more of a, not urban, but more of a built up area. And, you're clearly moving towards like a plateau, I suppose, like a clear plateau. And if that works for you, Harold, maybe that's where like the spacecraft, would be, or this escape craft.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's clear, you see like maybe 100 meters or so up in the air, you see hovering this bird-like thing, this thing that we've been hinting at all along, this falcon, and it's just openly following you. It's not even hiding or anything, and it's just following you. And I think that's pretty creepy. So those of you that can take stress, take a point of stress because you're being observed. And I think let's pick up,
I think I'm going to ignore stress there,
okay.
Which you can do once per session.
Sure, by just staying cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do a draw to see how this journey has gone. So let me I think probably the way I think I want to do this is I'm just going to look and just kind of like make a quick assessment of who would have the lowest number of cards. So given the situation, I don't think anybody's established any equipment that would help. Expertise-wise, I think being hardy would help Tony. Analysis. I think given your injury, well, I guess both of you are a little injured. Bruised. Let's say I think that let's have Harrow do the draw. I think you're probably the least capable in this journey. Oh no, you're being carried. So I guess it's Bicker. I guess Bicker is going to be the one to make the draw. So Bicker, I'm thinking your analysis is probably enough to give you an expertise. So I think though, and I think what we described narratively that Harold is familiar with this area, I think that'll give us another card. So I see you having 3 cards. So Jackson, when you're ready, go ahead and draw 3. Triumph, bam. Okay, so on a hit, the group reaches their destination without any significant problem. I wrote 10 plus. I should change that to Triumph. Get the proper language. I think I did that in a couple places in this game. Did the 7 plus. Anyways, another thing that I'll go through and fix. On a Triumph, they arrive unnoticed and gain significant advantage on their first action at the destination. Okay, so let's establish our last location. I think our new location. You've arrived at the hangar, I suppose, and let's do the new location move. When you arrive at a potentially dangerous destination, complete the following steps. Similar to what we just did. What are the basic dimensions of this place? What are a couple of the genre-appropriate features of the space? I will add a non-monster threat, and then I'll get a threat card. So I think that since Harrow has this background of this place, I think let's start with you, Chris. Tell us just the basic dimensions and shape and what this place is like.
I think when we come in, there's like it's a wide space with a low roof, but there's a catwalk around a big open space, and it just goes down a long way. So it's wide and not high, but deep. And there's this enormous, bulky, Sid Mead designed angular ship there, just pointed upward. Just looks enormous and heavy, and there's like this little cockpit on the side. And if we're inside, then I think there's crappy fluorescent lights blinking on, and a sort of a low hum and a hiss startup as we've sort of flip the main switch on.
Okay. And Jex, you have another detail you want to add?
I'm actually kind of blanking. I don't know. I don't really have any other thoughts. Yeah.
Let's go to Mark. Mark, do you have anything you would like to add to this scene?
Yeah, I think although it was clearly designed for this world, the concrete walls and maybe up to the ceiling show fracture lines where the tectonic activity is. Given this place a good shake, probably past its intended lifespan.
Have like tendrils of vines gotten in through those cracks?
Yeah. I love that.
Sure.
Oh, and God, there's probably the lava is probably somewhere in this room.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll add that in. Sure. Jackson, anything now, or are you still blanking? It's fine if you are. That's okay.
I like where we're at.
Okay.
I like where we're at.
I think that's pretty juicy. We'll go with that. The non-monster threat. I think you guys enter in and we see Harrow, hit the power, a big lever, and some lights come on, and the engines of whatever starts to go through its cycle, to power up this escape craft, and the roof starts to open, like a baseball stadium, with a retractable roof, it starts to slide and open, and at first you think it's just the machinery, but then you realize that an earthquake is striking, of course, at this one moment. It had to be at this moment, right? And everything starts to shake. You're all wobbling, and you've got to descend down this catwalk down into, to get into the ship, right? Because it's down. If I understand what you're saying, Chris, you've got to go down in there to get into the ship, and you've got to go down this precarious catwalk, this steel girder, situation, like a fire escape in an apartment building or something.
Probably like halfway down, there's some access gantry that takes us to the cockpit.
Right. And at that time too, you actually, there's one more thing. And then I got to draw a threat card. I'm really hoping there's a card I really want that I gotta see if I get it though. Oh, I didn't get it. That's too bad. All right. So, and I think what happens is you see that falcon, as the roof opens enough, you see that falcon overhead, and it's sort of like it doesn't flap wings or anything. It doesn't seem to have any obvious means of propulsion. It's anti-grav of some sort. It just sort of descends down lower so it can have a good view of you guys. And take it from there. What are you guys going to do?
Well, we get advantage on our first action in here, right?
That's right. That's right.
Tony 3, do you think you can hit that thing? Do we have a good ranged weapon?
You certainly can declare one. We described that.
Well, no, I mean, I know that Bicker has one. I'm sort of asking. I mean, the player, know, but Harrow doesn't know.
Sure.
So I'm like, do we have anything we can hit that thing with? Just hoping Bicker will be feeling generous.
Bicker's torn. And oh gosh, when I get to reveal my other card, the amount to which I'm torn is really going to. I think
it is Xenotech, right? This
right.
This drone of the Reapers. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I think. I think you see me sort of, whatever my cult's version of like, crossing myself is, and I take the thing out. And is it something that I can figure out how to use just from kind of playing around with it?
I think it would be an investigate roll. I think, okay. Yeah. So you want to take it out and start fiddling with it, or it could really sort of, the investigate can also capture, do you already know about this because of your Xeno background? But I think the cards will tell us. We can narratively explain our result based on how it goes.
For sure.
So investigate. First of all, share a story. We could do this backwards too, because like in this kind of thing, maybe we draw first and then you tell a story based on your result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that kind of feels more appropriate here.
Yeah. Okay, so I will ask you though, what are you hoping to find or discover?
How to use this thing to protect us.
Sure. And how do you put yourself into danger like an idiot?
I mean, I'm not gonna like take cover or anything. I'm pulling this thing out, and
sure,
if I figure it out, I'm gonna fucking try to blast this thing.
Sure. Okay.
I thought you were gonna say you were looking in the barrel, but don't do that.
Whoa, what's happening?
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's do a draw. So do you have an expertise that would help you figure out how to use this thing?
I think so. Analysis. I guess maybe this isn't necessarily Comtech per se.
Yeah, it's more mechanical, but I think analysis works. Sure. Do you have a special tool that would help?
I think maybe my hacking tools could be of assistance here.
Sure.
I put on like a little, like one of those little jewelers
loop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like it. Do you have any significant advantage?
Yeah, my cult uses Xenotech.
Yeah, you might know about it already. So yeah, I like it. So you got 4 cards.
Right.
I would say can't go wrong, but
well, the last time you said it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so edge, miss, edge, miss.
Okay, an edge. On a hit, in addition to finding out what you're looking for, you find something that moves the plot forward. On a triumph, it would be better. So on an edge, that's good enough. So you do indeed figure out how to use this thing, and moving the plot forward. I think we see, and you guys can use this as player and character knowledge, that's fine. But I think we see someone watching you from like up on the lip of this roof above, and it flicks from like one type of vision from like infrared over to like I don't know, microwave or something, and it flips through these different visions, and it zeroes in on you holding on to this thing, and you hear the three of you hear a roar of rage, as you see Bicker figure out, which button to push to shoot this thing, right? Um, and I think that's a good time for me to trigger this card, Monster Attack. So we'll pick up on that, but I think you were planning to like shoot this falcon with it, right? Is that where we go next?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that is fight. When you fight, you gain a stress and draw. We recall and shuffle. Oh, given the result, what do you think was the story you told as you were investigating this?
And the story can just be like a flashback, right? It doesn't have to actually be a story I'm telling the
That's
other
right. It can be
characters.
a quip, it can be a one-liner, it can be a full conversation, it can be a flashback. Sure.
Yeah, we see like a robed figure with a big hood kind of step into this dimly lit room and start kind of like looking through these pieces of tech and kind of holding them up to their face and looking through them, and then pulls the robe back and it's or the hood back and it's Bicker.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. All right, so fight, shooting this thing. When you fight, gain 1 stress. So take a stress, and let's draw. Do you have an expertise that would help you shoot this thing?
One question real quick.
Sure.
So I can reduce my stress by 1 when I spout some religious mumbo jumbo when a monster enters the scene. Can I do that here?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just sort of like something that shows that Bicker is kind of at war with herself a little bit right now, and is kind of basically like a sorry Jesus kind of thing, make some sort of statement about these Xenos that she worships.
It sounds like Tony calls them the Reapers. What do you think your cult calls them?
It's a good question. I think that we see them differently. I think we see them as having a role other than just sort of reaping. Ooh, actually, maybe it's a very subtle change. Maybe we call them harvesters.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. All right. So do you have an expertise that would help then, shooting this gun, this plasma caster?
I don't think so.
No. Do you have the right tool for the job? Yes, you have the plasma caster.
That's the thing, yeah.
Do you have a significant advantage?
Have we used the advantage?
Oh, yeah, you can use the one you guys earned. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So you're looking at 3 cards.
All right. Oh, I don't have to draw any more.
Hey.
Bam. There you go. All right, so we see this plasma blast, fly out, arc right into this thing. It bursts, and an explosion, and leaping down from the lip of this building, like, maybe on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You see that cloaked figure, maybe it's silhouetted in front of the explosion so you can see it, fairly clearly for a moment. And it lands on the catwalk on the other side. And it starts to walk, with evil menace in your direction. You guys are at that point where you can go down, you can fight it. What do you think you do? Let me ask Tony, what action do you take?
I just say, give me the caster and run.
I think that I give you the caster, but I don't think that I run. I think I'm going to reveal my other card. I am going to basically, kind of like you did earlier for Harrow, I'm going to throw myself in the middle of this and say, so I give you the caster. I say, no, you run now. And I am revealing my card, my background card, Hero.
Hmm.
So reveal this card when you put yourself in danger to save another. And then as soon as the story allows, reveal how you dramatically saved a group from certain death.
Sure. Let's see. And if I go ahead and have the threat attack somebody, you can say nope, it attacks me instead.
Exactly. Yep.
Great. All right. That shows. I mean, you must have a lot of like conflict within you, because on one hand you want to save them, but on the other hand you want to sacrifice them, right? To the harvester. So okay, great. That's really interesting. Harold, what do you do? These two are having a battle over who gets to stand and fight this thing.
I'm going to suggest gently to Tony 3 maybe a shooting staged retreat at this point. I'm still on your shoulders, I think, or your backpack, whatever. So I'm just whispering in your ear.
In that case, I think I don't take the caster and just say like, you know best, sir. Let's get you off this planet. And
okay. So we see the two of you start to descend then, and Bicker, you turn as the creature sort of comes around. You know, I'm picturing like a circular sort of like hole or whatever with this catwalk around it, and then catwalk going down. So it's coming around, and as it comes around, this 8-foot tall, bulky creature appears. You know, its camouflage drops, and it stops, and it unhooks these like hooks around its mask and takes away the mask, and you see, you know, the predator's face, the harvester's face, and it lets out a scream and a roar, and it pulls another weapon out. This like it's like a short little staff, and it clicks a button, and it like lengthens out into a spear, you know, with like a big sharp, you know, pointy end on each end of it, and it comes at you.
Almost like unnerving, like it's sort of unnervingly slowly for how much danger I'm in, start like removing my clothing, and as I do so, you start seeing all these cult tattoos all over me, and I drop down to my knees.
No, you still got the blaster, right?
I still got the blaster's set. Like I threw
Oh
it.
wow! Oh wow!
Oh, you threw it away.
And I think I just, you know, sort of do this sort of a thing, like look up at it and, you know,
sure,
do what you will.
That's interesting. Really interesting.
To operationalize this in terms of what I'm trying to do, from like what kind of move I'm making here, is I'm trying to help them get away, right?
Sure. Well, let me say this then. It stops and it looks at you. You know, it's maybe just a few feet away, and it's looking down at you, and it walks by you, and it picks up the plasma caster, and it goes to follow down the stairs. So it's past you. You know, it seems to ignore you.
You had to make this easy, right?
Let me have Harrow and Cal. So you see this thing coming after you. Either one of you do, and probably Harrow does. You're probably like looking over your shoulder, you know, holding on to Tony, and you see this thing coming after you. It starts to pick up its pace too. It starts to like run. You know, the whole thing's shaking, and that earthquake is coming on harder and harder too. I'm gonna have Tony. You're gonna need to make a face adverse. Or actually, let me ask what you want to do. Do you want to turn and fight it? Do you want to try to run and get away from it? Do you want to hide from it? Yeah, I think the run move is probably where we want to go here, isn't it? All right. And I think this might be a situation where, depending on what you want to do, Bicker, you might like assist, or you could probably do your hero move too, actually. Let's see how the run goes, and then you can make your decision of what you want to do, okay? Work with the GM to describe a hectic chase and draw. What's one thing you do as you're running that like gets you a little more space? You know, what's something you do that like it's almost on you, and you do something to like give yourself a little space?
I think since we're on a catwalk and I am strong, I think I start like as we go by, like just tearing parts of the railing off, and maybe like if I can, like tear up some of the catwalk. So
Sure.
it's at least going to have to jump.
Right. It has to jump. This slows it down a little bit. Okay. So I think we're ready to draw. So do you have an expertise that would help you?
I do, I believe.
A little bit.
I think I'm fast, right?
Yeah, you are fast. Yeah. Do you have the right tool for the job?
Do I have any tools that would help? I don't know that I have any tools that would help.
Metal robot hands.
No, I mean, we don't want to double up on. He's already getting advanced. He's already getting a card for being an android. Yeah. Do you have a significant advantage? Is there anything we've established that would give you an advantage?
I'm unarmed, and I think intentionally unarmed.
Right. I'm gonna say.
I'm hoping that Harrow is too.
Yeah.
I am, but I am also organic.
Right. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I guess that might be the advantage. Then is that I'm.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
Thinking aloud, but let's just go with that. I'll just go with that. That sounds good. So you got 3 cards. 3 cards on the run move.
What was the advantage?
That he's organic and that
synthetics.
Yeah.
I think I'm dropping them in the wrong place. I'm still on the Predator picture.
We're still looking at the.
Oh, sorry. All right. There you go.
There we go. Cool. Edge. Miss.
Okay. So he's got an edge. Do either one of you guys want to assist, or does
I really ought to help somehow. Maybe I
was going to say, does Bicker want to pull out your once per session you can protect another by having a threat attack you instead?
I do, but I think I kind of want to, because like the result of this is whether it's going to attack them or not. So I'd like this to play out, and then if Harrow's help isn't enough, then I will do this.
I agree. Okay, so yeah, back to you, Harrow. Do you do anything to help?
I don't know mechanically what move this is, but I was thinking that my knowledge of the layout of this place would give us maybe somewhere we could duck in, or a shortcut or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, this is just a help or hinder move, so all you need to do is just have some sort of rationale why you might help. So that sounds great. Maybe like take this shortcut through here, and we see you go through a little tunnel that like gets away from the crosswalk, and you come out. You save some space and time.
Like it's a duct you can just drop down, and you as a Tony model can just slow yourself down by grabbing on the side.
Oh, maybe like a support. So I can like jump off the catwalk into the sort of chasm, grab a support, and like slide down 2 or 3 floors.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. So you take a stress, and you get to draw 1 card for each one that Tony has showing, which is 3. So you get to draw 3 cards, looking for an opportunity or a triumph. There's an opportunity. And I think I'll have to think about this too, again, thinking aloud, so I remember to think about this later. But how do we handle stress-related things when you're an android? I'll let you say that you can use the opportunity as a triumph. I think that's fair. Okay. So you get the triumph, so you get away. The 2 of you get down to the bottom, and you're at the door. You're at the door into this thing. I think maybe we even, I don't know, is it time? I guess maybe it's time. I think you guys get down there, you slide down the door, it senses you coming, it's like operated by sensors. It opens up. The 2 of you dive in, and it shuts just as the creature, slams its spear thing, against the door. and I think you're safe now.
Nice.
Bicker's up above, maybe like looking over the ledge, seeing all of this. Um, where do go ahead and narrate where you want to pick up with that, and Bicker, if there's anything left that you want to do.
No, I think sorry, I'm just gonna look at the lines and veils real quick. The camera doesn't have to linger on it, but I think that I sacrifice myself, right?
Mhm.
I do something to get its attention.
Sure.
Maybe I know that it's if it gets the scent of blood, that's harder for it to resist or something.
Or maybe you
Right.
just like pick up like a knife or a piece sharp, like a completely ineffective weapon, and like
But it
give it a
realizes it's a
challenge.
weapon. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think the final scene here would be the thing. What was it that you said earlier, Chris, that happens? People's skulls and spines get ripped out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what happens to Bicker.
All right.
Oh,
So
it's
Bicker wins. You accomplished your agenda. All right. So I think that is the end. Yeah, let's take a minute, think, and relax, and we will move into talking about stars and wishes and roses and thorns, I guess, really, and any playtest feedback, what worked, what didn't work, um, and we'll call it a night. So if you are ready, let me start with let's start with Chris today. Chris, do you have any stars or wish or roses and thorns or playtest feedback? You could do whatever you got. We can come back around if other stuff comes to mind. We've got a few minutes.
I love the successive reveals from both Mark and Jax. It was really, I mean, I loved every time Beetle sucker punched somebody and killed them, or tried to, um, and I loved the inner conflict for Bicker of am I bowing down to this thing or am I helping my friends? Um, and I just really liked the whole dynamic with Beetle then Tony 3 of like I'm a psychopathic killing machine, but you work for Caliban, so I'm gonna cure you, and just or all this stuff, Um, yeah, so that worked great, and Jason, I liked all the juicy ways that you made our lives hell. And I have game design feedback, but I think I'll let everyone else do Roses and Thorns first.
Sure.
Thorns, I don't know Thorns. There were times where it seemed like things were piling on me too much. I thought, oh God, I'm just gonna die. I was very close, but then I didn't. And it is a horror game, so it's hard to say. Yeah, yeah. So that's all.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to you after we circle around. Jax.
Just to bounce off of what Chris was saying, I ran a game of Trophy Dark once where 2 of the players survived, and it felt like such a weird disappointment. Yeah, no, I had a ton of fun. Yeah, all the reveals. Chris, the sort of the way you described the effect of this sort of psychosis from this drug was so great. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I just think I'm in like a training simulation. Cool. Yeah, that was so good. And yeah, all the sort of stuff around the Tony 3 reveal was just so good. And Mark, I guess I also want to kind of, well, for both of you, I want to call out that you were able to kind of start building some of those breadcrumbs in before the reveal. That was something I had a really hard time with. That's not something that I feel like I was able to do effectively. but like once for both of you for your reveals for all four of the cards total, like it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So that was really cool. I thought that my thorn was going to be that I didn't get to reveal both of my cards, but I did. So yeah, and like Chris, I have feedback about the game, but we can save that. Yeah.
Okay, and Mark.
Yeah, I had a great time. I think y'all have said everything. Like all the characters are so like on point, and the way the layers are revealed was super cool. Yeah, everyone just like playing to their thing super hard. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, Jason, like not it never felt like you were taking it easy on us. Like it felt like everything that came through was because we just managed to squeak through.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good time all around. I love the. I feel like I got super lucky with the agenda. That was like super fun for me. I couldn't wait to reveal it, but I did. Yeah, overall, it was super fun. And yeah, I probably have notes, but I'll do mine last.
Okay, great. I'll just do some roses and thorns, and then we'll get everybody's like playtest feedback. Yeah, you guys. It's one of my favorite things about Zombie World, and what I try to carry forward into this is the use of the cards and how the players use it to create story and character arcs. And you guys, did that very well. Uh, like Jack said, you guys were working hard to put those breadcrumbs out there to like give us the hint, to give us that foreshadowing, and then the reveals hit hard, and but they all made sense, and they were really interesting. It's, obviously it's a playtest, so I haven't seen these in effect much, and I made them all up myself, so I don't know. We're just experiencing as we go, but to see how they interact with each other, and how they kind of worked well, that was really neat. I liked how Chris, like you having your drug roll going so badly, kind of like shaped the rest of your game today. Like you had to like keep that into account, and it had so much impact on what you could or could not do. So seeing you use that, and using it, you know, to increase tension, but also to add comedy, that was really fun. Um, and Jack's like used like putting in all the little bits and pieces about the cult, and trying to piece together a little bit of that background, and like what their motivation is, and what some of what they're about, like trying making that up on the fly. That was really well done. And Mark, just masterful, reveal of the synthetic, a classic alien thing, that is always fun to watch, and it's happened in games. People always love that moment. So that I really enjoyed how you did it. So yeah, that's, thorns wise, I don't know. I think I got worn out. Like the first hour was so jam packed full of action. I was like, oh, I'm tired. So I kind of felt like maybe I should have like revved it back up in the last hour, the last hour and a half. But I said, nah, you guys rolled well, and we did that already. So we'll just call it a day, and didn't make it too hard on you. That last thing, more about the denouement, and letting it have sort of a soft landing, so to speak. So I don't feel too bad about it. But boy, yeah, the first hour was so jam packed with trying to, all the misses, and trying to figure out how to work them all in, and make it. I didn't want to flat out kill anybody, but I definitely wanted it to be on the table. So it worked out great. So yeah, let's go around again, and if you have any sort of playtest feedback, so let's do that same order. Let's start with Chris.
Okay, yeah. I think that you've really captured the genre really well. The hidden agendas is very alien. Um, I liked the assist mechanic, which I don't remember being in Zombie World. is it, where somebody else
It's a
draws
little
cards,
different, but it's mostly the same. Yeah.
but drawing cards without reshuffling the deck, leaving the
Right.
first person's
Right.
cards out. That's a really interesting dynamic mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I yeah, I think the there definitely was a point there where I thought I was going to die, where it's like, oh, I won't get to reveal my my background, and that seemed too bad. It seemed like the danger was coming fast and furious. In the end, it worked out, so that seemed fine. There was one when we got so many hard moves or missed draws that it seemed like there wasn't actually space to describe them all. But that was when I was waiting to describe the results of my miss, I think, on the overwhelm move, where I was just sitting there with 5 stress for a while. So given that moves are technically a way of structuring in spotlight time, it seemed like there wasn't enough time for all the spotlights that were coming up. But that's the only real, and if I had died before, that's my only real critique. Other than that, if I had died before being able to reveal everything about myself, that would have been unfortunate and disappointing. But I can't say it would have been out of genre, you know?
Sure. Yeah. You might have been the person in the movie that we just don't learn that much about. Like they just die. We did learn a lot about you though, but even prior. But yeah, I hear you. And the part about missing that opportunity to describe off of a miss, you're absolutely right. There was that point. I think you're referring to the point where there was so many. Everybody had something going, and you all were missing. And I was trying.
Yeah.
I kept delaying acting it because I knew they were going to interact with each other, and I knew I wanted the monster to get into the mix. So I was trying to like shuffle it so that it all kind of made sense and everything hit hard at the same time,
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
definitely probably missed some things in the course of doing that because the list, I kept, oh, I'll delay this. And then another thing, I'll delay that too. And then the list got too long and I got overwhelmed myself. So sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's a tricky thing to balance, and a solution might only come out through repeated replays.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Jax.
Yeah. First of all, I think this is a really fun game. I think it's really promising. I think that the zombie world sort of, mechanics are so perfect for this. Especially like, how much I know that zombie world has like rules for like longer term campaigns and stuff, but like it's so perfect for one shots and I guess like really short series. And I think I see this the same way, right? Like I think I don't know if there ever was an Alien TV series, but I think that it's something that functions much better in like a tight like hour and a half like this is fucking terrifying sort of thing. And so that's really great. And like I say, I think that Zombie World is underappreciated. So I'm glad to see it getting some love in the form of being hacked. A lot of the other influences are really drawn in a really cool way. There's definitely points where like, oh yeah, this felt like, I guess, Alien Dark I haven't played, but I've played Trophy Dark and Cthulhu Dark. I guess the one thing that I struggled with is it sometimes felt like it was trying to fit too much in, right? Like there were maybe too many mechanics or, I think the story stuff can really work, but I think maybe it needs to be a little bit more guidance or just sort of like a little bit more focused on, I don't know. I have to think more about that, but that was like the one kind of place where it's like this game is doing a lot. Like it's pulling in so much stuff. And for the most part, I think it worked really well, but especially for something that's going to be geared, I mean, I assume is going to be geared towards one-shot play, right? I would worry about the potential kind of cognitive load on both the GM and players in terms of like, look at all this stuff. It's all super cool, but there's a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Did you feel like you didn't understand what was going on, or did you understand each bit, but it was just too much?
More like the latter, right? Like I felt
Mhm.
like I understood what was happening, what was going on. I think part of it too, and I mean, I guess this is sort of a thing where like having the card based kind of thing, and probably having like the little move sheets like Zombie World has as well is helpful. I struggle with Roll20 as a platform. I don't think it's well designed, for stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was. I'm glad that we had it because it would have been much harder figuring out how to do this in like a Google sheet or something. But like just like the way it's difficult to access rules, there were points where I was trying to like, go back to a rule I'd already like looked at and it wouldn't come up, and it was like, oh, because I already had it open, like things like that.
Sure.
So part of it is just Roll20 stuff, but I feel like I lost the thread a little bit there. I don't think it's too much if there's a good sort of, here's the guidance, here's what you refer to.
Right.
I think that if I were GMing this, I might feel a little bit more of that load,
Yeah.
right? Especially in PBTA, where it's like you kind of have to have a good sense of these are all the moves, and this one has a lot of moves.
Sure.
So, but good reference sheets can, help with a lot of that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the story bit, I in my home group too, that I get some feedback about that too. Like, it's I go back and forth on it because I understand what you're saying, like having more guidance, but on the other hand, I don't want to give guidance because I want it to be open ended, because really the purpose of it is to have character development, So I don't want it to be prescribed how it goes. Even I'm thinking about taking away the bullet points. I don't know if anybody uses those on the stories handout, and just say, like I've been saying with you guys, tell me something about your characters. Tell us, how do we learn something about you? Just leave it as open-ended as possible, and it can be as short as long as you want. But in my experience with you guys and also with my home group, it does seem to work. Like we learn, as I think back about our 6 hours together, we did learn a lot about our characters just from those little things, which we probably wouldn't find if we were just going from like action move to action move to action move. So I see what you're saying, but on the other hand, I feel the friction. I'm not sure where to go with it, but I'll definitely keep thinking, because I do hear that feedback.
Yeah, no, and hearing you say that was actually really helpful to kind of help me clarify what the issue was. I think I don't necessarily mean more prescribed, like this is how you tell a story. I think I actually do mean sort of more to the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a brief kind of description of, a story is a conversation between the players, a flashback, whatever else, and that's it, right?
Sure,
And not that's
sure.
it. I mean, obviously that's wide open, but like, yeah, I think that actually I think you're right. I think the bullet points actually sort of make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And also sort of make it feel more prescribed than it actually is.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And Mark?
Yeah. Things that I loved. Agenda is super, super strong, super in genre. Even before they are revealed, give really strong things to play off of. One of the things I struggled with, particularly with mine, was so I knew when I revealed, that would mean I didn't take stress. I was trying to figure out how to play, like, not taking stress or managing that stress before revealing. And I don't know if there's any mechanical thing to do about that. I think it's just, maybe a role-playing prompt, which I think already there, to be like, in case people have trouble figuring out what to do. Like, oh, here's some, this is what you do. I don't know. I don't think that's necessary, but love them. Same with the backgrounds. Really, really gave a lot of stuff to play even before they were revealed. And I think that's something that to be highlighted. Like, I think that we are all familiar with this type of thing, and I think newer players might need some nudging to be like, you can still play your stuff before it's revealed. Because I think that was super fun in this game. I really like the threat cards and all that. The all of like same issues with Roll20. The cards are really strong. The threat cards are really cool to see. I almost wonder, like, if, like, kind of bouncing off what Chris is talking about there with the like ratcheting up the tension, like Cthulhu Dark has the dice that go up or trophy or whatever. Maybe like making that more like maybe even playing them face up and be like, this is what's coming, or just like having that like number of threats be like the tension level. I'm not sure, but like super evocative. I'm a big fan of mechanizing GM stuff, so it's like, here are the things you can do. When we get a miss, GM gets more things to play with. Super good. And same with the world building cards. I don't know if you've played or read Durance. It's one of Jason Morningstar's game, Bully Puppet. It's a specifically Prison Planet game, but there's a lot of like really great world building stuff when you're generating the planet. There's like specifically like 6 or 8 different things that can either be like good or bad. But I love the way this worked out, and I love that when we're like, describe a new area, we have those to draw off of. Super great. Other stuff. I really like the overwhelm moves in Cartel. I don't know if I feel like they hit right here. I like when game over, man, like stress builds up, something happens. I don't know if like I would want to offload that to the GM or leave it more open-ended or whatever, but definitely having the stress track building up and then something happens. Like Jex was saying, all those too many things to choose from might have been a cognitive overload. And so I played Zombie World for the first time earlier this week. So many moves. And of course, building off of that, you're going to have a lot of moves. And again, I think that's more of a GM load thing. So we didn't really feel that there, but I would feel a lot of obligation running this game to make sure everyone, and you did a great job of prompting us for moves and everything.
Right.
And I wonder
maybe I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking aloud, maybe take away all the different types of overwhelmed moves and just have one overwhelmed move.
Yeah.
Be like, how do you deal with this overwhelming stress? Roll, and then have the consequences come out of that. Don't worry about, may have it just narratively described, whether you take drugs or get, go to sleep or yell at somebody or whatever. I'll think of that's good. I like that.
It's good for longer term play because it does introduce like, oh, like you freaked out and punched your boss, or you got high and you couldn't do the job, and it adds like more narrative complications. And I think we have like, there's already so much great stuff happening to us. It's already bad. I don't think it needs that extra push.
That's true. That's true.
I think, and I don't know if this is like a dial to make available for the GM or whatever, but I love Aliens / Predator universe. As soon as I saw the hanging bodies, I was like, Predator. But they're all, there's not like an Alien movie, right? Like Alien is super, super different from Aliens, which is super, super different from 3, and so on. I wonder if that's like a dial to explicitly give the GM, because like there's not a lot of fighting in Alien. That's a hiding and getting jumped at and picking people off thing. But in Aliens, like fighting's a big deal. And the other one, Alien 3 is more interpersonal and running and hiding and trying to figure stuff out. More like almost an investigation game. So I wonder if there's since there are so many moves available to sort of cover that spectrum, I wonder if there would be like a dial for the GM to be like, if you want to run this kind of game, use these moves specifically because they, this highlights running and hiding and seeing stuff. This one highlights combat and getting hurt and whatnot. And like have them pick half a dozen moves to focus on the things that are important for this type of story they want to tell.
Well, there's two things. One is like the very first thing you guys established was your power level.
Yeah.
That I would what I should do. You guys picked the middle level, so I tried to keep that ground us when we're just making decisions about equipment and stuff. But if you had chosen the low level, I would have to be a real hard ass about, I'm going to use this knife against the xenomorph. No, that's not good enough. Sorry. Versus Aliens where you can blow them down, because you've got automatic weapons or whatnot. But there's that. And then the second thing that I could consider doing is if you want to play more of a stealthy hiding, kind of game like Alien, then we'll do like Cthulhu Dark or Trophy Dark, where if you fight, you die, right?
Yeah.
There is no fighting.
Combat off the table.
Yeah. So I like that. Thank you. That's a good idea.
So many good things overall. Everything else is just like little picks and pokes to make stuff cool.
Okay.
I was interested to see how the buddy and rival stuff
Oh
that was gonna be like explicitly like pick a buddy, pick a rival, or if that was gonna
I'm wondering if I should make people make that decision from the start, although it doesn't feel fair because you don't really know each other's characters at all, so it's just a shot in the dark, and everybody knows kind of like from their agendas whether that's something. There are certain moves that push you to have to make that decision. They didn't really come up in our game, but maybe I could find a way, or maybe just get rid of it. I don't know. It might not really add much. That kind of, especially in a shorter game where that tension is coming up in other ways,
in Zombie World, you have the thing with allies where everybody gets one or two NPCs that will do stuff for them. And that seems like it might be even more helpful in an Alien game.
Have everybody define a NPC.
Right. Well, and then those NPCs that end up becoming basically just cannon fodder. Like we'll have a bigger connection to them, I think, then as well. I totally think that makes sense. Also though, in terms of if it is something you keep and like having it assigned right away, like I think that's okay. I mean, it's not that much different than like playing Masks and deciding, I'm in love with this person. Right. Probably know a little bit more about them at that point than you would in this game. But like, it's kind of part of the fun too, of being like, I have to figure out why I like that. Like if I have Harrow as my buddy, part of the fun is going to be figuring out why the fuck are Bicker and Harrow pals, or
even giving more directed question like, oh, Harrow saved your ass this time, how? Or this guy stabbed you in the back this time, or whatever. One more thing about the stories. Love the inclusion of that. Agree with the other feedback about it being too kind of open. Maybe that's like leave it open for the players to tell stories, but maybe also encourage that for an opportunity for the GM. And I think you did this a bunch, like the GM asking you like, hey, tell us a story about this one particular thing. So like takes a little bit of burden off the players to come up.
Sure. I was thinking about that.
You could like point, also GM ask questions and fish to point people at things or whatever. It's
a thing, another way of looking at it too, like like the game, of course, the game is you go into it without any sort of setting, or you go with very little bit of setting, and you have those things to create the setting and the story and the connections. But after a while, you don't need it so much. Like by about after the first hour today, you guys had an engine going where we didn't really need to do a lot more of that. I mean, as you flipped cards, it made it even more true because you were defining things, introducing new ideas and interesting things. We didn't need so much of that other sort of fuel to fuel the story making. So, yeah. So I don't have that's not an answer to anything, but I'm just thinking aloud. One thing too, like another pacing thing that I had in this scenario, like the whole thing with the Falcon, it's with my home group, they have the same thing. Like, no, everybody knows it's there, but they never really get around to do anything about it, which is fine. But it's really just there to speed things up. It just gives me 2 threat cards instead of 1. So I get more to play with just because I knew we were only playing 2 sessions. I wanted to make sure that I had stuff that I could do, to drive the action. And it certainly came true. I never got that 1 card I wanted, though. There's one more monster level that I could have gotten to, but it didn't happen. Oh well. That would have been like in Predator, in the 1987 Predator, where Arnold versus the monster. Like where it forces this mano a mano combat. So, anyways, well, thank you guys. That's great. Any last thoughts? Yeah. We went around once, but other things came up. Chris, you had any other thing?
I really liked that, even though that was clearly the Predator, that we made up our own story for it, or multiple stories. And also, I do notice that I did go to humor at that one point, and that's a difficult thing to manage in a horror game. And I don't know if there is some way that to encourage people to keep investing in the horror, or if that kind of comic relief for a moment is actually a good thing to break tension a little bit.
I think it's up to the table. I love that kind of thing. That's the kind of horror movie I like. I like that dark humor. I like that ridiculousness. So that works. I love that. That's perfect for me. And I think each table will kind of define that for themselves implicitly, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
But
I think one of my agendas, the agenda that I didn't pick was like comic relief or something like that, or the background.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, that would be cool, but I can't pass up the android.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said about the way like humor can undercut like emotion, including fear, right? Like you look at like the Marvel movies, they do that a lot, where they have a joke that comes in that kind of like deflates the emotional moment, right? But like you can also use it to purposely deflate something that just happened to make the next thing worse, right? Yeah. Like I love it being used that way in horror, of like, oh, that wasn't as bad as we thought it was. Oh no, it's actually way worse. And I think that can be really fun. I think can work really well in a game like this.
Sure. It can also capture that relief you get. Like today was a very good example of that. You guys had a very hectic, dangerous first hour and a half or so. And then once that was done, then that comedy came through. And I think that's perfect, at least for me. So no, that was cool.
Yeah, and maybe that's also worth if that's something that you specifically want to include, like maybe baking that into some of the location moves. Like one of the things, like telling a story could also be like, hey, lighten the mood by doing X, Y, or Z. Sure.
Like you've referred, that there is an agenda. There might be a couple that have similar kind of like comic relief kind of aspects. So yeah, that might be kind of more of an agenda level thing, at least right now. But yeah, that's something I'll think about. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for jumping in and helping with this early stages of this game.
Yeah, had a great time.
Beyond learning a lot about the game and changing things, and I'll change a lot off of all these great comments I'm getting from you guys right now. I had a really good time. I'm pleased to have met Chris and Mark. I had played with Jex quite a bit before, but it's good to see you again. I hope to see you all three of you in the future. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So much fun.
Awesome. Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. Bye-bye.